Perhaps we need some outside universal threat to make us recognize this common bound. I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
Good evening and welcome to a brand new week of Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. Thank you very much for tuning us in as we get into the Mandela Effect. Sandy, Diva, and her team are here to break it down. I love this topic, and we're going to have a lot of fun with them tonight. But first, let's say hello to each and every one of you. Kitty Caddywhack in the gold medal position. T-Bone with the silver. Eternity Eternal with a bronze medal tonight. Thank you all for coming on in. Tim Mothman and his goatee, two separate entities, paying taxes both times in California. How you doing, Tim? Astral Fugitive, Bar Madison. Mel WD-40 is here, lubing us up for tonight's show, because you can't talk about the Mandela Effect without getting lubed up and feeling nice and smooth. Mel, thank you so much for taking care of the lube tonight. Necessary Dialogue, pushing buttons. How you doing? Real or not for real? Welcome to SOR Chat. Paramarv, how you doing, my friend? And Jules, luscious Jules, look at her, becomes a new member of our YouTube channel. Thank you very much, Jules. We really appreciate your love and support of SOR as we continue on with our roll call. Dr. Bob's Nightmare, welcome to SOR Chat. And who else do we have here? Scrolling on down, Destiny Rocks is here. Destiny will be signing autographs after the show. Line up to the left of the studio, if you don't mind, to the left of the studio. Scrolling on down, Super Kaboom, good to see you. And good morning, Skip to my Lou. Frankie B. and Mama Catherine, mwah, I love you, my dear. I hope you had a wonderful day, and I hope you enjoyed tonight's show. I know you will, because you always do. I love you. All right, moving on. Let us say hello next to, scrolling on down, and more, Marie K. and Trucker Andrew. How you doing? Hello, Cat Chaser, and thank you for kicking off the Super Chat tonight. The Super Chat is a wonderful way to support what we do on this show on a nightly basis. Trucker Andrew, race fan, how you doing? In the studio, thanks for coming on in. What in Tarnation is here? What in Tarnation will be signing autographs after the show as well. Line up to the right of the studio, if you don't mind, to the right of the studio. Scrolling on down, we say hello next to Attorney at Large Michael Morris. Splatter, how you doing in the chat room? Good to see you. Guess we'll see you in the show in just a couple of seconds, too. Moving on down, let us say hello next to Forrest Louie. Thank you for joining us. And well, there's Sandy Diva in the chat room. If you wave at her, she always waves back. Matt Carter, welcome to SOR Chat. How you doing? As we continue on with our roll call here. And up next, we have Erica Stover. Thank you for coming on in. And who's next on our list? Let's see here. Undead Jed, nice to see you. And who's next? Monica, thank you for coming on in. As we continue on with our roll call, there's the lovely and talented Kira. I would know you're feeling better. I already know it. I'm not even going to ask. I already know. Jaquetta, how are you? Thank you for joining us. Thomas Rock, Digger Dog, nice to have you here. And Bit of Venom. Might hear from him in a minute here too. Maybe, maybe not. We'll see. The Ferret, nice to have you here. Little Cam on YouTube. I keep wanting to say Twitch, my bad. 500 push-ups, 8 minutes, all the warm-up for tonight's show. He's jacked, he's warm, and he is ready. All right, scrolling on down. Who's next on our list here? Well, we've said all of you. And Body Tech, good morning to you. And Super Mario Bros, welcome to SOR chat. Oob to Joe's Maine, you've got nose goblins. Here we go. Hello and welcome to the radio and podcast side of Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. We're going to get into the Mandela Effect. Sandy Diva is here. She's brought her team along, and we're going to break down these strange happenings as we go along. Now, we are in roll call on our YouTube side, so bear with us. JSCO, thank you for coming on in. And who's next? Number 21 in your program, starting at left wing from Stockholm, Sweden, Lars Jansson. Eversore, how are you? Nice to have you here. Flat 6, good to see you. Larry Bonds, the home run king. Good to have you back. And let's see here. Who's next here? I think we're almost caught up here. I really do. Do me a favor, everybody. The super chat is open. Join our membership and throw those horns up. Let's rock.
Are you ready to hear your mystic voice of the night?
It's time to wake up.
He's here. Shush. Be quiet. He's ready for you to listen. Let's point our ears towards the little cabin in the woods. We're together, friends. It's time for Spaced Out Radio with Dave Scott.
From the mountains of central British Columbia to you listening around the world, this, my friends, is Spaced Out Radio. I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. We welcome you to tonight's show on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on every major podcast network. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot. Read the news wire. Check out our swag as well. You can follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. Tonight's show is brought to you by Chive Charities. Help make the world 10% happier by visiting Chive Charities today. You can find them on our website. We got a great show coming at you tonight. If you've never heard about the Mandela Effect, we're going to break it on down here for you. Sandy Diva and her team are going to join us to talk about this incredibly awesome, unique, and unbelievable phenomena called the Mandela Effect. Then in hour number 3, Swamp Dweller will join us with another creepy story. We're going to follow that up with little Timmy James, who will be in for the UFO report. We're going to break down everything what happened this past weekend when Merle and Lee Strauss were up here investigating Flight 21, and there's a lot of UFO news as we speak. So let's get right to it tonight. Sandy Diva is an independent researcher and commentator, best known for her deep dives into the Mandela Effect, a phenomenon where groups of people recall events or facts differently from how they are documented in history. With a background in both alternative media and community discussion forums, Sandy has become a recognizable voice in exploring collective memory shifts, pop culture anomalies, and deeper implications of false or altered memories. Her approachable style, paired with a sharp eye for detail, has helped Sandy connect with audiences who are fascinated by the unexplained and curious about the boundaries between perception, memory, reality, and, of course, the Mandela Effect. Sandy Diva, it is great to have you back on Spaced Out Radio. I had no idea you were going to bring your entire team with us tonight, and I'm so glad that you did. How are you, my friend?
I am doing great. I feel privileged and happy to be here. Thank you for having me and allowing me to bring my whole crew with me. It's really great of you to host all of them as well as myself.
Well,
And
please introduce your team if you don't mind, because I want our audience to know who they're listening to.
okay, no problem. To my right is Splatter 420. He's the little kitty cat with the crown falling off. And below me to the left is Sag-Arm Mandela Effect. We also call him Jose. And next to him is Bit of Venom.
Wonderful, wonderful. So, for people who may not understand what the Mandela Effect is, let's get a couple minutes in here to talk about this weird part of history that we may or may not know about.
Sure. Well, the Mandela Effect, I believe personally, has always happened. I just think it's because of the internet, people being able to talk to one another, that we started recording these things. And, you know, the story always goes back to Fiona Broom, but no one knows Fiona Broom. She's nowhere to be found. But that's when it all started. The Mandela Effect is also not a dig at you guys calling it misremembering, but definitely not misremembering. I believe the Mandela Effect is a phenomenon where millions of people remember things differently, and they all seem to remember them the exact same way. But lately, there's usually been 3 choices instead of 2. But we still all remember it the same way. So if it were misremembering, why would we all remember the same thing, but not the current way it is? Do you know what I'm saying, Dave?
I have no idea what some of these are. I really don't, because I know, and I will give you a quick example here before we bring in members of your team. You know, I remember playing lacrosse as a kid, and we had to wear a kidney belt. Okay, because we were always taught, and even boxers were taught, no kidney punching because the kidneys don't have any protection. They are exposed. And now that's what I always thought. And now apparently the kidneys are underneath, protected by the back of the rib cage. Now, a lot of people will say, Dave, they've always been that way. But if you talk to a lot of the Gen Xers and the boomers out there, and I'm a Gen Xer, you know, I'm in the elder part of the Gen Xer, but I'm still a Gen Xer, damn it. Okay. You have a lot of these people who just seem to remember it differently. There was a reason. And I remember that one because I'm a former sports journalist. I love sports. I crave sports and the little nuances of every sport. I may not know everything about every sport, but I do know some of them. And the kidney punch was always very dangerous. So did our kidneys move, or is this a Mandela effect, Sandy?
Oh, no, it's absolutely a Mandela Effect. And what you're describing is the first Mandela Effect with the kidneys. The kidneys rose up higher. The tubes are longer going down to the bladder. But now one kidney is higher than the other, and it's also larger than the other. So the kidneys have been Mandela'd again. So they're higher up. They're protected by the rib cage. One is higher than the other, and one is larger than the other. They were the same size for me. They were lower. I remember it just like you do. This other Gen Xer remembers them lower. And I completely agree with you. And there's so many Mandela effects with the body. It's crazy. Like, have you heard about the one with the 2 fangs in our throat?
No.
So apparently, despite the fact that we've had like X-ray, MRI for 100 years, they've been operating on people since the dawn of time. We have 2, I believe don't quote me on this, I'd have to look it up, but anywhere between 3 and 6 inches long. There's 2 fang-shaped glands in the back of our throat that science somehow missed for centuries that are there. 2 big fangs in the back of our throats. So
Wouldn't that be like the tonsils?
no, this is like, it literally comes straight down. It's like a gland that's shaped like fork tines that comes straight down in the back of the throat, and they never knew they were there. How do you miss that? I don't understand how the medical community missed those glands forever. And I think they were discovered in 2021 or 2022. So either we grew them Or it's a Mandela effect and we're in a body that had those fangs that no one knew about.
Fangs, like teeth fangs.
Yes, except soft tissue because it's a gland.
I never knew. I never ever knew. Let's bring on your teammate here. Let's Splatter. How you doing, my friend? Welcome to SOR for the first time. Appreciate you coming on in. How did you get involved with the Mandela Effect?
I don't really remember, to be honest.
Well, that's a Mandela Effect on its own, right there.
Yeah, it just happened one day. I heard about the Kit Kat and not having a dash and the Ford emblem being strange. And so I walked out to go check it out for myself. So on the way to the store, I'm looking at cars and seeing looking at the Ford emblems. And wow, okay, to my surprise, it was different. And then, of course, when I get to the store, the Kit Kat dash was gone. Like, what the hell? And that's how it started for me. Right? And a whole bunch more since then.
It really is an addicting subject, isn't it?
Yeah. It's a question mark that, it stays there. You can't really answer. It can't be answered. Like, where'd it come from? Who does it? Like, all those questions.
It is a strange one that a lot of us have trouble understanding. Let's bring in Bit of Venom here. We want to get your opinion on everything. And Bit of Venom, I'll ask you the exact same question. How did you get started in all of this? What was your first rational thought thinking that I need to look into the Mandela Effect a little bit more?
I totally freaked out when I saw it and when I realized that my reality has changed. So yeah, it was more cognitive dissonance because my reality doesn't match with my memory doesn't match with the reality I saw, and I broke down.
So what was the one that kind of changed or skewed your reality?
I have several, but the first one was Dolly from Moonraker. I saw that movie just a week prior, and she doesn't have braces anymore in the Moonraker movie. And when I didn't saw the braces, I thought, what? That is not possible, because I clearly remember the braces with Dolly.
Wow. And for you, Sagarm, I'll bring you in here. How did it all begin for you?
Well, first of all, thank you for inviting us. And
you're welcome.
It's a privilege and honor to be on your show. I'm a big fan of your show ever since Brian Stavely paved the way for us. So I want to thank Brian Stavely for doing that, and Sandy Diva. She was with Jeff, and they're pioneers to the Mandela Effect. But I've been blessed with this mystery, and I believe when I first got affected with the Mandela Effect with the word ketchup, here they spell it Ketchup, but my reality where I come from, it used to be cat soup. That's how I memorized it. So it was very I speak Spanish. My first language is Spanish. I can read it, I can write it, and I can communicate. I can translate both languages. But I just started with the Mandela Effect with the bad spelling. Like my teacher kept saying, this is wrong. I would get bad grades because I was misspelling dilemma. I was misspelling ketchup, like C-A-T, cat, and then soup, S-U-P. That's the way I remember it, but it was wrong. So I always knew since the beginning of my beginning of my lifetime, I always been affected with the Mandela Effect, but I would never realize, I never pinpoint what it was called. People would tell me, no, you're wrong. Your memory is confusing. You're saying things that people are not familiar with this, but it happened to me. That's what I remember. So like Sandy said, it's not misremembering. It's just something like a brain, is just your mind goes beyond the expectations of the community, of the people, because they expect us to remember something, but it doesn't exist here where we're at right now. So it's a very confusing event. So
Sandy, I want to bring you back in here for a minute because, you decided to create a YouTube channel, a great one, really pushing and promoting the strangeness of the Mandela Effect on YouTube. And congratulations for all of your successes and the way it's growing right now. Great job on that. I want to ask you, in regards to this entire subject, how do we know, or what is your thought that history has changed in just very subtle, weird ways that just ordinary people like us wouldn't even notice until we started paying attention to it? How did this all happen, in your opinion?
I have my own theory. My theory is, I don't know if we can talk about it on the radio because it involves the man upstairs. But I do believe this is the Great Deception. And that's why I said it's always been happening. The problem with the history thing is, it's not, I don't see it as subtle. I see Mandela effects with historical events. Like there's things I can't talk about because of YouTube. But let me think. Here's one for you. Do you remember when George Bush had something thrown at him? Do you remember that? It's
It
a
was a
historical
shoe.
event. It was a shoe. You said a shoe. Do you remember just one shoe?
I remember two.
You remember two. Okay, see, I only remember one. And there is residue of the one shoe. Because I want you to think about this. Just think about it logically. If someone throws something at a sitting president of the United States, what happens?
Those people get attacked, arrested.
Yeah, they wouldn't have a chance to grab the second one. They would be tackled to the ground in seconds because there's so many Secret Service around them. And that's what I remember happening. But now it is too, like you said. But there's historical events like that all throughout history that have Mandela effects tied to them. And I can't list them all here, and I prefer to do it. If you guys want to know about it, come watch the show, because then I can visually show you. Like, I can show you evidence of the one shoe as opposed to the two shoes. But I believe every aspect of our lives, historically, from the biggest Mandela effect to the littlest, it's happening everywhere we look. And I don't know why other people don't see them until they're shown, but that's my job. I will see them, I will show them to you, because they are everywhere, Dave, everywhere.
For a lot of people out there who will be listening to this topic for the first time, Venom, they will say, as they look at this topic, Venom, I don't remember it that way. I may have forgotten. I'm not sure anymore. Why does it even matter? Why does it matter? Why are you making a big deal out of this? What's your thoughts on people who just kind of dismiss this topic?
Yeah, that's the strange part. Some people, I think they're not allowed to see it. And some people react really strange. If we question people about the Mandela effect and how do you remember X, Y, Z, without giving any spoilers, and they give the answer that we remember, then I tell them what the current reality is, and then a really weird reaction comes. Either they get an update, or they go silent, they go angry, or they change the subject. It's really weird to see that, how that happens with those people. That's I think the creepy part of the Mandela effect, how people react to the Mandela effect, because people, they react really strange to the Mandela effect. That's the weird part.
Do you find, Venom, that as you go deeper down this Mandela effect rabbit hole, that it is a lot more common than what we even think of? Like, I look at it, I recognize the fact that there's some high strangeness out there that isn't making sense. But I bet you I'm not even looking at the tip of the iceberg here.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, there are Mandela effects that we all know, with Flintstones or Berenstein, Stain. Those are the most common, but there are lots more, especially in the reality, how it looks now. The sky is lower than I remember. The sun is much more bright. It's white. It used to be a friendly yellow sun, not anymore. And there are a lot of changes in reality itself. And there are a lot of changes, like the word dilemma, spelled with an N. In my memory, it's now an M. And that's the weird part, because people try to explain the Mandela effect away, that your memory is trying to make short ways. But that's not the case with dilemma. Also not with the Statue of Liberty. Statue of Liberty was on Ellis Island. Well, how difficult is it to remember that the Statue of Liberty is on Liberty Island? But we all remember Ellis Island. And I'm not from the United States, as you can hear. I'm from the Netherlands. So I didn't even knew that Liberty Island existed. I knew Ellis Island and the Statue of Liberty. That's the most famous statue. So yeah, there's a lot of changes that doesn't make sense in your head, or the explanation for false memories. That's absolutely not the case. Trust your memories. So yeah, there are much more.
Splatter, I want to bring you in here. And by the way, before I bring you Splatter in, I do have to say, I remember Venom, it being known as Dilemma as well. Dilemna, not DILM or LEMMA. There were no two M's. It was MN, the way I remember.
Absolutely.
I actually went to Google to spell dilemma, and it is two M's, not MN.
Yeah, that changed. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, that's nice. Yeah, that's
there's
nice.
Even a forum with people from 2015 where people say, I remember dilemma with an N. And are we taught wrong? So people weren't aware of the Mandela effect. So they discussing on that forum about that spelling. And that's really weird to see how people, but I remember dilemma with an N. And dilemma is a word in most other languages. So it's a really well-known word. So yeah, it's absolutely changed. And your memory is correct. Absolutely.
All right, Splatter, let's bring you in here. For everybody out there who doesn't know how the Mandela effect was named, maybe give us a brief history lesson on this.
It's hard to explain, really. It's just that some people thought Nelson Mandela died after he got out of prison, but he didn't actually.
I think a lot of us are not affected by that one, which is surprising. Like there's some people
I know
that remember Nelson Mandela dying in prison, but I would say like 75% of people have they're not affected by that Mandela effect. And I was just putting this in the chat for those people that are new to the Mandela effect, that I haven't found a single person who is affected by every single Mandela effect. We all have a current memory sometime. Like Dave has a current memory on the two shoes instead of the one shoe. Right. Just because you're not affected by a Mandela effect, like Nelson Mandela dying in prison, doesn't mean that you're not going to see other Mandela effects.
Yeah, that's what kind of made it hard for me to explain that, because that one doesn't affect me.
Well, let's get into that, because, is there then, Sandy, bring you in back here for a second, is there then a Mandela effects that are not going to affect certain people, but other people will remember it a different way? Because the way I look at it, this is part of the weird phenomena that we're in. I had an instance, totally off topic. I had an instance with 6 other people where I saw a UFO on the ground. None of them saw it. They saw aliens on the ground walking through the trees. I didn't see any of them. Yet I saw the UFO. Is there some sort of mental game being played here, as we got about 30 seconds to go, with the Mandela effect in this same way?
It could be. I mean, we do believe that it's possible some people cannot see Mandela effects. So I do believe it could be something that is affecting what they see. So in your case with the UFO, that's in person, right?
Yes.
Yeah. See, that's like blinders. Like blinders were put on you to focus on that while they were focused on the other thing. And I think it's like that with the Mandela effect as well. But
well, let's hold on to that thought.
Yeah.
Let's hold on to that thought. Sandy Diva is here from Sandy Diva Mandela Effects, along with her team Splatter, Venom, and Sag Arm. We are going to get into more Mandela Effect. Some you may remember, some you're going to scratch your head on, and some are just unbelievable. Next on Spaced Out Radio.
Oh. Sorry if I'm not doing too good. My brain's farting.
All right, there we go. We're clear.
Oh, we weren't clear yet? Oh, no.
No, that's okay. I got you. I got you.
I was screaming splatter mute.
All right.
Well, I thought we were already on a break. Oops.
Oh, that's all right. That's all right. It's all good. It's all good. Let's see here. I'm still trying to get caught up in the chat room here. I'm still a couple minutes behind.
It's really busy in the chat room.
Yeah,
it's flying tonight.
Yeah,
the chat room is flying.
Not used to this many people. That's why I'm a little bit nervous.
No offense to our beautiful audience, but that's okay. They're just pretend they're not there. Night Drive, how you doing? Nice to see you. Finally, I'm caught up. Finally, there we go. Oh. Never get bad knees, man. Bad knees suck.
Oh, tell me about it. I don't have them. My neighbor does. He got both of them operated on.
Wilford Brimley, welcome back. How's your mustache? How's the diabetes? Let us know.
Let me tell you, he's a slow walker.
Right? Oh, man. I love this topic. I do. I'm going to love this topic.
You're going to love it more when you come on our show, because then we can show you. We
can show it to you. Is it your birthday, Sandy?
It was on Saturday.
Oh.
So we do the whole weekend, birthday weekend. Then next weekend, our other co-host who couldn't be here is Josh. It's his birthday.
Who's Josh?
Josh 08 is our other co-host. He's at work right now.
Oh.
He works the night shift.
Well, I don't normally do this after a birthday, but because you're the guest, I will.
Oh, no.
Nice.
Happy birthday
Thank
to you. Happy birthday to you.
Wow.
Happy birthday, dear Sandy Diva. Happy birthday to you.
Yay. Thank you so much. That was really good.
Wow. What a treat.
Yeah, that's special.
There you go. There you go.
And many more.
Thank you so much. Yeah, we celebrated this weekend.
Good.
Yes.
Good.
And we are having an after party. You're welcome to hop on after Space Out Radio is over, but I know you probably want to go to bed. But you're welcome to hop on. It's an open panel.
Send me a link.
I will send it to you
I'll
right
hop on
now.
for a bit.
Okay, sounds good.
I'll be about an hour after, though, because I got to go another hour after we're done, right?
I know. It's okay.
If I can, I will.
Yeah, you can just come on and say hi and goodbye.
But we do need to get him on for a regular, get to interview him and see how he started.
Yeah, it's an ugly story. Lots of bone crushing, lots of blood, sweat, tears.
Mm-hmm.
That's how we all get here, I think.
All right, we got about a minute to go here.
Gonna mute up.
Let's go here. And what did we miss? Nothing.
It's in your email now.
Okay. Thank you. Walter Kochabinski, how you doing? I think we're all caught up. I believe we are. Wayne, how are you? All right, big thank you so far to Cat Chaser, Kitty Cattywhack, Richard, T-Bone, Forrest Louie, and Trucker Andrew for the great super chats. And thank you, Luscious Jules, for joining the YouTube membership. We greatly appreciate that. Even though I screwed up on Friday, I will figure out how to put those videos on for you early, I promise. Here we go. Here comes the second half hour of Spaced Out Radio tonight. Have you ever heard of the Mandela Effect? We're talking about it tonight as we have Sandy Diva and her great team from her Mandela Effect YouTube channel, where she goes deep, deep, deep into a dive on this great, weird subject. Many people believe we're misremembering. Sandy and others like her are like, that's not it. There's something going on. It's fishy. And we're about to find out. Sandy, welcome back along with your team, Splatter, Sag Arm, and Venom. Thank you for being here, guys, tonight. Appreciate you.
We appreciate you too, Dave.
Well,
and everyone here.
Let's get right to it. Sandy, give us some examples. Start us off a little small and then build up to the juice, because I'm thirsty for this topic. All right. I need my juice. Give us some examples of the Mandela Effect. And I got a favorite one here. And I mentioned this earlier when I was promoting this show on WPHT in Philadelphia with a nightly hit I do with Walter M. Sterling, one of the top night radio shows in the United States. And I was telling him about the cornucopia on Fruit of the Loom. They have a cornucopia holding all the fruits. Except now, in this realm, apparently the cornucopia never existed. What the hell is that about?
Oh, that one. I have an entire show where I debunk people on TikTok. I agree with you. I think everyone on this panel remembers that cornucopia. Maybe not Bit of Venom because he's not in the U.S., but I know Splatter and Jose remember the cornucopia. And I would say that the cornucopia one is the biggest Mandela effect. I think the most amount of people, in the US at least, remember Fruit of the Loom having a cornucopia. And yes, it never has. It's always just been fruit and leaves. And people on TikTok are photoshopping tags and telling people it's not a Mandela. They found it. Here it is. Here's a shirt. There's like 4 or 5 of those shirts going around. And I prove how they did it. I Photoshop it live on air and recreate the tag. Better than them, actually. But yeah, I don't know what happened to that cornucopia, but in this reality, they never had it. There is a patent. If you search the U.S. patents, there is a patent for a cornucopia with Fruit of the Loom, but they never used it. So what I think is, if you think of the Mandela Effect as timelines, that's how I think of it, that we are merging in and out of different timelines. In one timeline, like the way I think it happens, and this is just total speculation, we have no way to prove this, the timeline will split when a decision is made. So let's say a graphic designer comes to Fruit of the Loom, they show one image without the cornucopia, one with in one timeline, they went with the cornucopia, and in our current one, they went without it. And that's why everyone remembers that cornucopia, because we were once in that timeline where the cornucopia was there. Now, don't ask me how we switched timelines. I have no idea, but I think that's what happened.
Okay, so give us a couple more examples before we bring in your team.
Sure. So I'm going to give you ones that are just, you're going to have to look them up because I can't prove it. You just have to take my word for it. I did give you an audio clip last time I was here. I know you can't play it because it's the radio, but a lot of people, I think, are familiar with Christmas music. Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas. So Bing Crosby, specifically, I grew up listening to him at Christmas time. My mom loves his Christmas songs. She loves the movie White Christmas. But Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas, every single artist who ever sang it was Let Your Heart Be Light. Do you remember that? Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas, Let Your Heart Be Light. Are you familiar, Dave?
Yes.
If you go listen to Bing Crosby, he sings, Let Yourself Be Lies now. Let yourself be lies. That's like an ominous message. We see a lot of messages in the Mandela Effect. And letting yourself be lies is just ominous sounding. It doesn't make any sense, to be honest with you. Another one is a question I have for you, Dave. Are you familiar with doo-wop? The word doo-wop?
Yes.
How would you spell doo-wop?
Isn't it D-O-O-W-A-P or D-O-O-W-O-P?
That's how I remember it. Now, something that we see in the Mandela Effect community a lot is that it's frequently both ways now. So it doesn't replace it like, like Curious George lost his tail. So now you just see Curious George without a tail. But with doo-wop and a lot of Mandela Effects, you frequently see the way we remember it and the way it is now. So I remember it like you. I remember W-O-P. But it's also W-O-P-P now. And it's actually more frequently W-O-P-P. And I don't know about you, but I've never seen a double P on the end. Do you remember it with a double P?
No. Never seen it. Never seen it. Give us one more before we bring in the team.
Okay. All right. This isn't one where I'd ask you a question, I guess. Do you remember mountains being rainbow colors? Like full-on rainbow. Yeah, like full-on rainbow. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple.
Yes.
Rainbow. You do remember them.
I do remember the colors of the rainbow, but what order they're in, I do not remember.
No, not the order. I'm asking if you remember mountain ranges actually being those colors.
No.
Okay, so there's now 14 locations on Earth that are fully rainbow. There's a rainbow location in Africa where the dirt is rainbow, and if you separate the colors, they will go back into the colors that they were in. So if you imagine, like, I don't know, remember those sand things where a bottle of sand with the different layers of color?
Yes.
If you were to stick your hand in it and mix the colors up, the colors would then re-separate back into their colors. Like, things do not act like physics is different here. There's no way that sand should separate into its own color. Yet there's this place in Africa where the sand does that, the dirt, I should say. There's also an island called the Island of Hormuz. The island is all different colors. They have red beaches, black beaches, purple beach. They have a rainbow crystal cave where everything is rainbow. And they even use the dirt as a spice, so they eat the island. But the whole island is rainbow. There's all these locations that I don't recall. And I don't recall anything being rainbow. We have rainbow trees, rainbow mountain ranges. We have rainbow everything. It seems like the rainbow is very integral to the Mandela Effect. So
that's very interesting. Very interesting. Let's bring in one of your teammates here. Let's bring in Splatter here. What is your favorite Mandela Effect, Splatter?
Oh, I can't say that I have a favorite, really. But the Monopoly Man is another one. Yes, doesn't have a monocle anymore. He always had a monocle when I was growing up.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. And, a lot of these companies, whether it's Parker Brothers or anybody like that, they say, no, it's always been that way. Where do you think these memories of, say, Mr. Moneybags having a monocle all of a sudden comes from if it's never been there?
Yeah, exactly. That's the question of questions, really, when it comes to anything with the Mandela effect. Like, why can some people have it that way and other people don't, and they swear by it?
Are there ever any little pieces of proof that show that how it once was? Example, I have a key in my studio, and this is one of my favorites. And in this key, this is a Ford key. And Ford has always said that the curly Q on the F that makes a little curly Q on it has always been there. Yet it's a Mandela effect that it never has. And this key that I have does not have the curly Q on the Ford logo. What's your thoughts of that, Splatter?
I don't know. And that's good. Yes, that's called Residue. Yeah, I have some of the Ford emblem too on my my Facebook page.
All right, let's go over to Venom here. What would be your favorite Mandela effect that's out there?
I've got a couple. Dolly, of course, because that was my first one. Coca-Cola. I checked when there was a tilde, a squiggly thing between Coca and Cola. That's gone. It's now a dot somewhere above. And I checked all my Coca-Cola glasses, and they all changed, or they all had the new logo or the new typography. So that's weird. I've got a lot of Mandela effects that I remember differently, like JFK when I saw that footage again. How do you remember the footage of JFK? Is it in black and white or is it in color?
That's weird. I never thought about that one. I know there was the Mandela effect, whether it was a 6-seat limousine or a 4-seat. And apparently isn't the previous before the Mandela effect, there was like 6 people in the limo, not 4?
Exactly. That's the Mandela effect. Most people remember 4 people in the limousine, and now there are 6 people. There's still a replica of the car in the museum where it shows the 4 people, or a car with 4 seats. So that is what we call residue. We still have residue. Also, in a reenactment of that assassination, they also used a 4-seater car. So it matches our memory that we saw a 4-seater car. And the Zapruder film, it's now in color. It's not black and white anymore. It's more zoomed in. Also, what happens there? I mean, you can see more detail that wasn't there before. So that film changed too. There's even now a radio message from the police that wasn't there before. So there's a lot of things with JFK and the assassination and the Zapruder film that has changed, especially with a 4-seater to 6-seater. And now the McConnelly and his wife, of the governor of that state, they are now in the car as well. And we don't remember that because we knew there was the driver. There was a theory that the driver did it. That's not the case in this reality. And the driver, he's too far behind now. And that's not possible in this reality. So that's how you know also that something has changed, because that theory doesn't fly anymore, because it's the car is bigger. So that's a big one also for me.
Right. All right, Sag, let's go over to you. How about your favorite Mandela effect?
Oh, the one that is my favorite is the side view rear mirror in the cars on the right side, on the passenger side. I always used to say things in the mirror may be closer than they appear, but now in this reality is things in the mirror are closer than they appear. So the maybe doesn't exist. And that scared me, like really, really scared me. I was in shock. My face turned white, and I had to go to the whole parking lot and check every mirror on that parking lot to make sure I wasn't seeing things like or hallucinating. And,
Yeah.
and I never believed that. It's like, no, this Mandela effect is not real. I'm going to prove it wrong. I even went to a junkyard to go see the old cars, and they all said things are closer than they appear. It's like, what's going on here? And it just puzzled my mind, and that's how my search started with the Mandela effect 12 years ago. And here we are. We're still trying to look for answers. We even did a helpline so we can figure out what is happening to us. There's a community that we're trying to help, because there's a lot of confusion in the community of the Mandela effect. Everybody has a different memory, so we're trying to make a sense out of this puzzle called the Mandela effect.
That is incredible. As we talk the Mandela Effect here on Spaced Out Radio, Sandy, bring you back in here for a moment. I mean, this is a topic that really a lot of people will sit there and say, well, how do I know that what I'm looking at is a Mandela effect or just misremembering? Because if I go now and look back in history, all these things have changed, but I remember it differently. So it's a real battle between history books and the internet versus your own memory.
Here's I don't think anything is misremembering. Now, we will tell you if we're remembering wrong, but for the most part, I want you to think about this. Can you remember families' birthdays? Some people can't. I get it. I'm going to list some more. How about, can you remember phone numbers from when you were younger? Not so much now because we dial names, but back in the day, we dialed phone numbers and we remembered them. We knew the phone number to our house, our grandparents, our best friends. We knew those numbers by heart. I still remember them today. Do you remember how to get to places? Like, how do you get to the store? How do you get to work? How do you get to a friend's house? Why would you remember all of that accurately, but not a specific little thing like Curious George's Tale? You remember every word to your favorite song. Why would you forget one part that everyone else is remembering wrong? You see what I'm saying? That doesn't make any sense. You still remember all the other words right, but two words are different in the song. Everyone remembers it a specific way, but current reality says it was never that way. It's now this way instead. How could that be misremembering if you remember every other word to the song? You see what I'm saying? So I totally, we're going down into the conspiracy rabbit hole here, because I believe that they're trying to make us believe that we're misremembering. I think our memory is much better than what science tells us. I don't believe it's anywhere near as fallible as they claim. I think we are remembering it right, and for some reason, they don't want us to look down and pay attention to the Mandela effect. They want us to just turn away and pretend like it's not happening, and I'm not doing that. And my goal is to wake everyone up. Any person that comes to my channel, my goal is to make sure you see what I'm seeing too.
Have you ever had anybody of government importance or anybody along those lines, scientists, maybe come up to you privately in a phone call or DM and say, hey, keep this up, you're onto something, or be careful this road you go down on?
So far, not yet. Not yet. I would love to talk to someone of importance, in quotations, someone who, maybe some of the researchers, there was actually an actual study done on the Mandela effect. I would love to talk to those researchers, because I believe their whole study was contaminated. That instead of just showing, like, for example, the Monopoly man with and without a monocle, they added a third option that was totally outlandish, and people were choosing those weird options because if they didn't know, they were just taking wild guesses. I think they should redo the study with just, how people remember it, how it is now. I think that would be a much more accurate study. But they actually did a study, and you can see the study online. They used the typical ones, Berenstain, Curious George, Kit Kat. But like I said, they added a third option, and the third option was something that no one remembers. It's just something they made up on the fly, and I think it skewed the results. But I would love to talk to somebody linked to that. I would love to have a conversation with a psychologist or government official or somebody who is insistent that it's not real and that's all in my head, because I would love to have a conversation with them and show them my research, show them the residue, and see what they have to say to that.
That's just to me, it's such a baffling topic. It really is, because you want to think that, whether it's a Star Wars quote or whether it's the Kit Kat or Fruit Loops or Berenstain Bears or whatever it may be, you want to believe that there hasn't been any trick. Where do you think the timeline shifted that we all started noticing?
Okay, so I do believe we have like everyday shifts. We shift all the time, but there are major shifts where a lot of things get altered by the Mandela effect at once, and there's bigger Mandela effects. And I believe in part with the internet, because again, the internet allowed people to talk amongst each other and share these memories. I believe 2012 was probably where it started, because that's when Fiona Broome coined the term. And 2016 is when a lot of people woke up to the Mandela effect. And then I think in 2020 it happened again, because everyone was home and on the internet more. And honestly, I think we're going through that right now. I don't know why. So maybe every few years there is a awakening, so to speak, where a lot of people come across the Mandela effect and bigger things happen. I will say that there is a theory about CERN being the cause of it. Are you familiar with CERN, Dave?
Yes, but for our audience, explain it.
Okay. So CERN is a research facility. They have, well, that's a Mandela for me. It was the Large Hadron Collider for me, but it's always been the Hadron Collider. Little Mandela there. They have these colliders. There's literally 40,000 colliders. When we first started researching the Mandela effect, we just knew of the one. And then we heard there were a few, so under 10, and now there's 40,000 colliders. What they do is they collide particles. And the larger ones, the Large Hadron Collider, for example, is located in Switzerland and France under the ground. And it's this big loop where they collide particles, and they've created miniature black holes. And some people believe CERN created the Mandela effect. They did something to our reality where the Mandela effect happens. I disagree with that theory, because I see new Mandela effects all the time, and they shut those things down completely. All of them. They have a shut-off schedule. And I'm still seeing Mandela effects. So either I'm coming across Mandela effects that happened when they were on, or it's not the cause of the Mandela effect, but I do believe it amplifies the effect. I think we can find bigger Mandela effects when they're on and smaller when they're off. But that's just my theory. That's the worst part, Dave. We can't prove anything. All we can do, it's just like, what happens after we die. We can guess, we can make educated guesses based on residue and people's experiences, but there's no way to absolutely know. We can only guess. They will always just be theories. And I think that's the most frustrating part about this phenomenon, is that we see it happening, but we can never know why.
Yeah, that's the big one. We could never know why. I mean, do you think there are people who do know? 20-second answer.
I don't see how they could. If they do, they're causing it. Not even 20-second answer. It's like a 2-second.
Well, that was about a 3-second answer. I'll give you 3 seconds on that one. But no, good point though. Good point though. I mean, if this is happening due to the Hadron Collider, do you think then that this is something that may continue further, where we're going to be able to see what really changes in the near future. And we're going to get into more of these Mandela effects. Sandy Diva is here. She has a Mandela Effect YouTube channel, along with her teammates Splatter, Venom, and Sajarm. We are here talking the Mandela Effect tonight on Spaced Out Radio. We're having a lot of fun. Hopefully you are as well. The weirdness continues on this show when we return. This is Spaced Out Radio with host Dave Scott. Hi, Ormane. Welcome to SOR Chat. All right. Guys, we are on break for about 5.5 minutes. You can all unmute your mics. I'm going to take a quick break. You guys can chat with the audience. And do me a favor. Tell everybody after this show in like 2 hours where they can find yours. And I'll be right back.
All right. Thanks, Dave. Thank you, Paramar, for sharing the links. Yes, there is an open panel after the show on my channel. And the links are in the chat. Thanks to Paramar. Thank you so much. I don't know if you want to share the actual link to the open panel, but it's there. We usually, do a little recap before dropping the link to join the StreamYard. But yeah, we're gonna have an after party.
I don't know why I'm so nervous. It's like I've never been on the air before. I feel weird.
That's okay. Just remember, no curse words. Hell.
Still not. We're still on YouTube, guys. We're still live.
Yeah, well, that's okay for YouTube, but not radio, though.
YouTube doesn't matter. Okay.
No, okay. I
got you.
Yeah, one little word slipped out. I didn't mean to. It wasn't. At least it wasn't the major words,
Yeah. Thank you, Tim Lockman. Guys, I want to thank you all for being here. Guys, if you're coming from my channel and you've never been here before, please subscribe. They have awesome content here. He talks about all sorts of things, from Bigfoot to the UFOs. Like, it's so interesting. You should definitely subscribe.
I am subscribed, but I'm not into the UFO type stuff.
I saw UFO before the Mandela Effect. Don't tell Dave, because he will.
UFO. I mean, UFOs are possible because they could be from here somewhere, like the other side of the ice wall or under the water or whatever. But
all a UFO is something in the air flying that's unidentified.
Unidentified. I know. But when I hear that, it automatically makes me think outer space, and that's I'm not outer space.
For those of you unfamiliar with Splatter, he is a flat earther and he does not believe space exists. So that's why he's talking like that.
Outer space, that is.
Outer space, right.
Space exists.
I think Flat Earth and the Globe Earth is a Mandela Effect too.
I do too.
There we go. Yeah.
I do believe. I'm going to tell you guys a quick story. There's a place called Cape May Point in Cape May, New Jersey. Sunset Beach is on the point. And back in the late 90s, early 2000s, I pointed out to my mom the curvature of the Earth. Literally, pointed out to the ocean. You could see it. You could see that the Earth was curving because you're on a peninsula, so the water's all around you, and then you're on the beach there. And that 2013 or summer of 2012, I took my spouse and his son there, and I was going to point it out to them. You couldn't see the curve anymore. I looked and looked. I couldn't see it. It was clear as day when I went with my family, and now when I went with my new family, you couldn't see it. So I believe we may have shifted to an Earth that's flat. It's possible. Here's the thing: if anything in your reality is different from what you remember,
check into it.
I don't care how small it is. I don't see how anyone couldn't see that that's important, like not important. Why wouldn't that be important? Nothing should be able to change. Nothing should be different. And you know what? I don't know why we didn't talk about it. I don't know if we can. See, that's the thing I should have asked Dave. Can we talk about the Bible here on the radio? I don't know if we can talk about the Bible.
No, he said no religious stuff.
No religion. That's it. Yes, we can't talk about it. That's right. That's why I was like the man, the
I'm
great
just gonna
deception.
say spiritual, and the man upstairs, like you said, supreme creator.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I'm just gonna say spiritual event.
No, Glenn, I don't know what shape the Earth is. I honestly, it doesn't. All I know is that we're being lied to, but I don't see the importance of knowing what shape the Earth is. We're
Well, it's
on
not
the Earth,
important.
and that's
It's
all
just
that matters
obvious.
to me, huh?
It's just obvious that water does not conform around a ball. I mean, water's flat, and you can see it that way.
Here we go.
I
What?
Oh,
like
Dave, change the
SpaceX. I
subject.
like UFOs. So I don't know, guys.
All right. We got about a minute to go here. So just bear with me here. I'm just going to quickly scroll down to see if I missed anybody.
Mute up, guys.
And let's see here. Blue Cruz, how are you tonight? Thank you for joining us. Let's see who else. Nikki in Seattle, thank you for joining us. Pushing buttons, thank you for that great super chat. Thank you. And thank you to T-Bone, Louis times 2, Trucker Andrew, Richard, Kitty Cattywhack, and Cat Chaser as well for the great super chats. It's a wonderful way to support what we do on this show on a nightly basis. Everybody be like Luscious Jewels. Join our YouTube channel membership. You can do that right now as we speak. Glenn John McEnroe, the pride of Wimbledon. How you doing? Good to see you. And don't forget, you can shop at our Spaced Out Radio store. We do not have ugly swag, people. No ugly swag. Here we go. Hour number 2 of Spaced Out Radio is now underway. My name is Dave Scott. Thank you very much for tuning us in wherever you are on this beautiful planet we call Earth. Hello to everyone tuning us in on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on every major podcast network. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. You can follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. Receptacular. Receptacular is your password. Use it wisely, Space Travelers, as the Clam sets the password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Let's head over to our great topic of the night. Have you ever heard of the Mandela Effect? Well, this is where history has changed right before our eyes, and many people, like our guest tonight, believe that there is something going on that has changed the most subtle things, from movies to movie titles to music lyrics and products in between. Sandy Diva has her own YouTube channel about this, and she is joined with her teammates Splatter, Venom, and Sag Arm. Good to have you here once again, everybody. Thank you for being a part of Spaced Out Radio tonight. Let's get into the Mandela Effect. Sandy, I want to ask you, there's a lot of people who talk about residue. It's one of my favorite words when it comes to the Mandela Effect, residue. What does this mean?
Residue is physical evidence, whether it be digital, stuff we get offline, or evidence you can hold in your hand of what we remember. So, for example, if someone has a stuffed animal of Mickey Mouse and he's wearing suspenders, because a lot of people remember Mickey Mouse wearing suspenders, that would be physical residue of Mickey Mouse and suspenders. Mickey Mouse has never worn suspenders, maybe like, how sometimes they have specialized clothes on him. I'm talking about the shorts having suspenders. People remember that. Another piece of residue could be an article talking about, like I said to you, with the one shoe, where it says a shoe was thrown at President Bush. CNN. The CNN article could be residue. Anything that you find, whether it be digital, physical, even audio clips, people singing a song the way that you remember it. And a song, Mandela, that many people know is Hotel California. This could be heaven, blank. This could be a word I shouldn't say on the radio. But it should be or. This could be heaven or this could be. And it's and. That's a flip-flop, though. A flip-flop is where it goes back and forth, where sometimes you'll hear it and you'll hear and sometimes you'll hear it and you'll hear or. Well, you can find people on YouTube singing it the way it was, heaven or. So that would also be residue, even though it's audio. It's what's the word I'm looking for? It's not. It's audio. It's something you hear instead of see. But residue is our bread and butter. That's how we prove to others that our memories were true. There are other people who remember it as well. And I believe all residue is created by people's memories. Because if we shifted to a timeline where Curious George never had a tail, we should not be able to find Curious George with a tail. But we find drawings and even toys. The people who design the toy remember the tail, so they'll throw the tail on it. It's the memories of other people that create residue, at least in my opinion. But I'm with you. I love residue. Love it.
I still got to make a T-shirt that says residue on it. That's just absolutely awesome. But let's talk about music, because you bring up the song Hotel California. Are there a lot of songs out there that have been changed over the years?
Absolutely. There are so many, and I wish I could play them for you, but I know about copyrights. I don't play. I tend to cover all the music in one show because I'm just going to say, forget YouTube. They can have the copyright. It's fine, because I want you to hear them. But Tutti Frutti, are you familiar with Tutti Frutti?
Yes.
So let me quickly explain a flip-flop. So a flip-flop is where we record a Mandela Effect with anything. In this case, the song Tutti Frutti. The part where it goes a womp bump baloo bop. What comes after that?
Oh, I can't sing that part.
You don't have to sing it. A
Womp
bump
bam
bop.
boom or something like that.
Yes, a womp bam boom. Exactly. So it got Mandela'd and it went a womp bump balloon bump, a womp bump bump instead of bam boom. And for the longest time, it was just bump bump. And now, if you listen to the song, it starts out with bump bump, but ends in bam boom. So it's been Mandela the second time. Bam boom is back, but only at the very end. It's so crazy how the Mandela Effect sometimes will do that. It's like the Mandela Effect affects things in ways sometimes to make it harder for us to prove. Because now that bam boom is at the end, they can say, it says bam boom. You're just misremembering the first part of it being bomb bomb. No, it was never bomb bomb. It was always bam boom. Always. Throughout the whole song. Do you remember bump bump at all, Dave?
No.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Yeah. So when people tell you that it's always been bump bump, it's hard to believe them because I believe my memory. I trust my memories, and I encourage everyone to trust your own too. And don't listen to when they tell you that you're misremembering. It's not a thing. But there's lots of songs. Like there's Beatles songs that have been Mandela'd. There's Beatles songs that were Mandela'd that I have, and now my whole presentation doesn't make sense because it's gone back to the way that it was. It did a flip-flop, and it's no longer Mandela'd. So I have a whole presentation that's now residue of when it was Mandela'd because it's not anymore. And that's why I do it the way I do with visuals, because it lets me have a physical record and lets me go back and look at them again to see if they've been Mandela.
Well, let's bring your team in. Venom, talking about songs here, is there a song that sticks out in your mind about how the lyrics are being changed?
Yeah, the Queen song, for example, We Are the Champions. That's a really well known. you see also the car karaoke, the TV show where they sing. And the last part of the world is missing in that song. So if you listen to if you play on Spotify or whatever that song, the last part of the world is missing. It's still in the live version, but we all grew up with the single and on the radio when it played. And the last part, we always sing along of the world. I mean, it's a song that everybody sings along, especially if you're in the car driving along. And that's missing of the world. It's totally gone.
I believe he played it live at Wembley because I think I had that live tape going back to cassette tapes. If you remember cassette tapes, people, I had the cassette tape of Queen live. And at the end of that one, he says of the world, and then there's a pause and the crowd going crazy. And then they play God Save the Queen, where Freddie walks out with his cape and crown on.
Yeah, that was the best live concert ever, especially of Queen. But that's only in the live version. It's not on the single. And everybody remembers the single, not that live version. And not everybody saw that live version. And I think it's Residue that he still sang that song with Of the World as the last part. I call that Residue. It's the other way around. So the single, it's totally gone. That's the Mandela Effect. But he still sings it live on that family concert. And that was the best concert ever. It was a really good one. Yeah.
Big fan. Big fan. How about you, Sag? What is your song that you noticed the Mandela Effect on?
I'm not familiar with too many songs, but the one that affected me the most is the disappearing of an island. It was called the Rock of Gibraltar. It was next to Spain and in the middle of Africa. That island disappeared. So it's no longer exists. Now it's a peninsula. That island was supposed to be protected to the Mediterranean Sea, and they used to have a base there to protect the ships from going in and out from the Atlantic Ocean. Another one that is really hit my heart and my mind very hard is that South America moved 1,500 miles to the right, and it's almost touching Africa. Cuba is almost touching Mexico. To me, Cuba used to be 70 miles to the west of Florida. Now Cuba is as big as Florida. I believe Brian Stavely brought that up one time. And also the Ed McMahon, that's a big one for everybody too. But songs I really don't have a sense of following a lot of lyrics and stuff. So that's very hard for me.
Well, let's hit up Splatter here. Splatter, how about a song for you?
I'm much like Jose there. I don't really know any of Mandela songs. And he stole mine. I was going to tell you about the South America shifting.
Oh man, sorry.
Well, let's talk about that though. Okay, because there's a couple of planetary shifts, if we could call it that to me don't make sense. I, like you guys, I remember going to school and South America was pretty much, it was North America, South America was pretty much like a pizza wedge. It went straight down.
Pretty much, yeah.
You know, and now I'm just as shocked that it's more towards Africa than I ever thought. But the other one for me is Cuba. Cuba seems to have gone on steroids and grown as an island.
Yeah, Cuba is much bigger. And now, Dave, how far away do you remember Cuba being from Florida?
I think it was like 90 miles or something like that.
Okay, I have that memory too, but a lot of people in the community remember it farther away. But it is 90 miles. There's a dinghy in Key West that says 90 miles to Cuba. So that's what I remember as well. I was curious how close you remember it. Splatter, what do you remember? You want to tell them about the Panama Canal?
What about it?
Which direction do you remember the Panama
Oh
Canal?
yeah, it used to go east-west, and now it's shifted so much that now it goes north-south.
Yeah, because
Correct?
that's very much linked to South America being below North America.
Yeah,
Now that it's no longer below North America, the Panama Canal in our past went from the west to the east. It connected the two oceans.
yeah,
But now it goes from the southwest to the northeast. It's almost not a straight up 90-degree angle. I'd probably say a 45-degree angle, because South America is so far over to the east.
right.
And I kind of remember like the small strip of land where the Panama Canal is. I remember that connected more to the west, the center of South America, and now it's all the way over to the western side, which could also play a part in where South America is. And then I've also found residue, which I don't even know what to call it, reverse residue. I found images from a TV series called Goodnight Beantown, where South America is farther east than it is today. And it's curved counterclockwise and moves north,
Right.
so that it's off the coast of Georgia. Like it actually looks like South America is off the coast of Georgia. That's how far east it is and how much it moves up in this one map image in the TV series. So it's like we're getting a peek into another timeline where it was further east, which is very strange.
It's very strange. Very strange. Like, even with, like, getting back to Cuba for a second, I always thought that Cuba was joined up like Haiti and I believe it's the Dominican Republic. They were joined by another country on the island. That it wasn't just a country on its own. But maybe I'm misremembering that. I'm not sure.
Well, that's the thing. Don't jump to misremembering. I guarantee there's somebody in this chat who remembers it like you do. For myself, Cuba was always by itself, but it was so much smaller. I completely agree with you that it's grown. It's probably 3 or 4 times the size that I remember it. I remember this small, tiny island. And but for me, it was just all Cuba. But I do believe people remember it like you do. Guys, anyone, Bit of Venom, Jose, Splatter, do any of you remember Cuba being split with another country attached to it?
No.
No, I remember. Oh, sorry. I remember Guantanamo Bay, where the prisoners went. That part was of the US, so they took a little part of Cuba. But it was split now. I remember New Zealand being one part. It's now 2 parts, but not with Cuba. And you, Jose?
Yes, I believe it was like Puerto Rico, Costa Rica. I mean, they were all the islands were all screwed up on this reality, because I believe we're on a smaller Earth, and everybody, Australia moved up to the north. The Panama had to move because South America is shifted. So, and the North Pole doesn't exist here. Another one that we can prove that we're in this different Earth is because this Earth doesn't have a North Star. It moved. Polaris, the star, I believe when you were trained as an army, whenever you're in the jungle or in the mountains, to find your bearings, if you were lost, you would look at the North Star, and that was it'll guide you to the directions that you're at to find your way home. But here in this reality, if you go outside, to me, it was the brightest and the biggest star, and it was the first star that came at when it got dark. So to me, that proves that, and that we're in a different reality. And if you Google or ask Siri how many planets have rings around like Saturn, and Siri will tell you there's 4 planets that have rings like Saturn. And in my memory, where I come from, Saturn only had rings out of all the planets that we had in our solar system. Here we have a white sun. And to me, everybody remembers yellow sun, but I come from a place where the sun was on fire. It was orange and yellow and red, different colors, because he was on fire, and it wasn't as hot as it is now. So we found out this about 8 years ago, that we were in a different area, different dimension, different earth. That's why we're seeing this Mandela effect. Our memories doesn't fit to this reality, but our memories come from another place, and that we're trying to investigate how is this happening, and we don't have the answer, so that's why we're here. We need help.
That sounds so strange, my friend. Paramarv in our chat room saying that he also remembered Cuba being split with another country as well, which was very interesting.
And that's why I mean, don't say it's misremembering, because I guarantee your memories are accurate. It's just that they're not accurate to where we are right now.
We are talking the Mandela Effect, Sandy Diva and her crew here from Sandy's YouTube channel, all about the Mandela Effect. We got 3.5 minutes to go before we have to go to break again. Sandy, let's bring you back in here. You know, we've talked about countries. We've talked about the world. What is one that is very obscure that people might not even realize has happened?
I would encourage everyone to look around their own area, because I guarantee there's something Mandela in your area that only you would know, or people in your area would know. So, for example, I live in Philadelphia, and there is a road here which is very well known. It's where the news stations are located. It connects Philadelphia, the city, to the suburbs, and that road was called City Line Avenue. My whole life, it was City Line Avenue. And don't worry, Dave, I got a ton of residue. I got swizzle sticks, business cards. I've got so much stuff that says City Line Avenue on it. You can't deny it. It was City Line Avenue. There's other roads, Township Line Road, County Line Road. But for some reason, City Line Avenue, going back to maps, going back to the 1700s, has always been City Ave. Line is just gone. So I encourage everyone, take a look around where you live. You said you know Brian Stavely, Dave. His town
Yes.
went from Centerville to Centralville, or Centralville to Centerville. I think it went to Centralville. Same thing. Look around. Those are the most obscure ones. We call them personal Mandela effects, because most people are unaware unless you find someone close by who knows the area. Or you could have a personal Mandela effect just to you. Like, we have people frequently join the open panels talking about Mandela effects that happen to them in their everyday lives that only affect them. Mandela effects are everywhere. Unfortunately, I mean, it's kind of like a double-edged sword. It's like when we say it ruins our childhood, you know, because we're well aware that it's not the same place. It's just not the same, and we feel it in every aspect of our lives.
How can one look into this, Sandy? Give us the 1-minute answer about how people can start looking into this.
I would start with YouTube, because there's videos online that tell you all about the Mandela effect. And I encourage people to watch both sides of the coin. There are people debunking it, and then there's people like me and Jose and others that, you know, show you that things are Mandela. But I always encourage people to look at both sides of the coin. I would start on YouTube, maybe TikTok, but TikTok is not a great place sometimes. It's not even accurate sometimes. So I would actually start on YouTube. They'll get you into it, and then you can come find channels that do deeper dives like I do.
It is a deep dive, definitely, into the Mandela effect, because things are always happening. Things always seem to be changing. And no matter what happens, you kind of have to give credit where credit is due. And sometimes this stuff just seems to be real. I believe in it. check it on out. It's a good rabbit hole and a fun rabbit hole to go down. We have Sandy Diva and her team for another half hour. Spaced Out.
You're listening to Spaced Out Radio with your host, Dave Scott.
All right, guys, we are clear.
Okay.
We're going to get to some audience questions when we come back from the break. All right. So, hello, Creepypasta. How you doing, my friend?
We also
Sarah
have,
Yon, how you doing?
I'll be right back. I'll go check something out.
You got
Sensational Shelley, nice to see you. If you have questions, please put them in capital letters. I would appreciate that. It makes life a little bit easier for old Davey and his terrible eyes.
you're doing great, Sandy. Thank you.
Oh, no, you guys are doing great. Thank you for being here with me. Dave, I could not have a channel without them.
I'm sorry, talk up a little bit.
Oh, I'm sorry. I said I could not have a channel without these guys. And Josh. I wish Josh were here, but he's at work.
We also
All right,
have
cool.
some good theories of what is happening.
Kason Lee, how you doing, my friend? Good to see you. It's good times, people. Good times.
It is. It's good to see everybody here. You know, I have a lot of these people come over to my show. We call them the carpool. They carpool over after your show.
Mhm. Yes.
Right on.
Yeah.
Right on.
You know, I don't know if you're aware of this, but in YouTube, you can, not just where the polls are, you can do a Q&A and it puts all the questions in a row for you.
Really?
Yeah. You do Q&A and then at the top where it says top messages, you can make it Q&A answers and it'll list all the questions for you.
I never knew that. Zenzabil, how you doing? Nice to see you. Emperor Penguin and Vanessa, thank you for coming on in. Tim Mothman, if you don't mind, give your goatee a tug for us. We'd appreciate that.
This goes by too quick. Too quick.
I told you. I told you. We got about 2.5 minutes, guys.
Are we allowed to talk about theories? What is happening? How is happening?
I would
Would love
stay
to.
with.
And
Yeah, but our theory involves God, and I don't think we can talk about that on.
we
Why
can
can't you
say
talk about God?
Yeah.
Supreme Creator.
Yep. Can't talk about God or any creator or anything on the radio.
Or spiritual, just
No.
spiritual event.
No, it's radio. We can't.
Mhm.
Why?
You
Yeah, you
can
can.
say there's a
Just no
tendency
swearing.
behind it.
I'm
Just
sure
no
Oh.
swearing. Radio is free speech, you know.
Okay, then we should talk theories because the theories are crazy.
Mhm.
As long as it doesn't go down weird, bad conspiracy that involve children,
No.
involve certain islands or anything, or politics.
No,
That's where I draw the line.
no. All I say is Supreme Creator, and this is a spiritual event for me.
Then run with it, man. That's a good
Yeah.
time.
Thank you.
Run with it.
Just
Okay.
Pat
wanted to
Leal, how
check.
you doing?
Marv says our shows last about 19 hours. I
Yeah.
know.
A marathon, two shows in one day.
But we do run 9 hours sometimes.
Did somebody swear?
Who swore?
Okay, I'm just asking.
No.
I guess not.
Did
Then
you swear?
I don't
Who
think
swore?
so. If I did, it was an accident.
Oh gosh, I'm gonna have to give you a fist shaking.
Oh no.
Oh, no.
No, I came in the door after I heard you talking about swearing, no swearing, and I was wondering, That's
Oh,
No,
all.
no,
not
we
at all.
were
So I'm
just
gonna go
talking.
check. I
we were
apparently
asking
got a delivery that I didn't get. It says delivered, but it wasn't. So I'm just like,
Yeah, I gotta check that out too. I'm missing a package or two.
Yeah.
All right, 1 second here. Thank you to Blue Cruise, pushing Andrew the Trucker, Forrest Louis ×2, T-Bone, Cat Chaser, Kitty Cattywhack, Richard for the great super chats. Thank you to Jules for becoming our latest member on our YouTube channel. And of course, you can shop at our Spaced Out Radio store. Why? We do not have ugly swag, people. No ugly swag. So make sure you check it on out. And we're coming back here in about 11 seconds. Here we go with the second half of Spaced Out Radio tonight. This show is flying on by as we are talking with Sandy Diva and her crew from YouTube on the Mandela Effect. Before we get to some audience questions right next after we get back from the break. Well, I guess we're back from the break. Well, when I shut up, how about that? When I finally zip my mouth and keep quiet, we'll get to some audience questions. I promise you. But first, we want to remind all of you that if you missed portions of this show or others, check out our free archives on YouTube or any major podcast network. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. You can follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. Here we go, Sandy Diva and her great team of Splatter, Venom, and SAG Arms. And here we go, Mandela Effect, audience questions. Coming up here momentarily. Sandy, thank you for you and your team joining us tonight.
Thank you for having us. This is so much fun. I can't wait to hear what the chat wants to know.
I love it. I love it. All right. You already answered this question, but maybe go into a little bit more depth. Derek is asking, can you explain what you mean by residue within the Mandela Effect?
Sure. So residue, maybe if I give an example. We were talking about we are the champions of the world. How the end of the song, many remember him singing of the world, and he doesn't anymore. So if you go to YouTube and search We Are the Champions cover song, if you find people singing of the world at the very end of the song, that's residue. They remember it being at the very end of the song. Or if you find the lyrics written out, photos online in Google search of, sometimes you'll see like those graphics where it's just got the words on top of like a background of stars or something. If you see of the world at the end in a graphic, that's residue. Anything that you find that shows what we remember of a verified Mandela effect, that would be residue. Something that proves other people remember it like we do too, because it's really the only kind of residue we can have, is showing that it's remembered. It was like this way for other people as well.
Right. All right. Let's move on to another question here. And let's go to, where are we here? Let's go to Dave. Does anybody on the panel believe the CERN collider has anything to do with the Mandela effect? Sag, let's start with you here.
I believe so. It first started because they took credit for it. And they had a book, and they had videos, they had songs. They even had a guy with posters saying Bond and Mandela Effect, Nelson Mandela. So they were trying to take credit for it. Like Sandy said, they're making us look like we're crazy. So I believe they're using it the dark side to turn the Mandela effect to the dark side, and they're turning it so evil. There are people are questioning the Bible. People are questioning their memories. People are questioning a lot of what they're. In other words, they're making movies and everything to make us look like we're insane, and they don't show the residue that Sandy Diva just explained. And I believe to me, this is a very spiritual event from the Supreme Creator. I believe we are recording right now with our brains, recording all the events that we're having. So it has nothing to do with CERN. I believe this is a very spiritual from the man upstairs, and the way I believe he's protecting our soul. Our memories have a soul. Our spirit is recording right now, and that's what we take when we pass away. The only thing that we take is the spark of life, the God particle that they're looking for. CERN is looking for them to be able to control our souls. They want to damage our soul because they want to get closer to the Creator and have the dark side to open up because they want to bring the dark side through like the Sandy said, they're opening portals. 30,000 CERN facilities are trying to open portals to bring evil into this planet. I believe the Supreme Creator is bringing us here because we are like positive antennas. We are good people. We have good values. Everybody in the chat we have great chat. We love this community. That's why we're trying to help them, to guide them to be a spiritual side, not to take the dark side. So I believe CERN is trying to make us look evil, but we're not. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I just need to correct something really quickly. That's a theory. That's just a theory with the portal thing. The portal thing is just a theory. I believe CERN amplifies the Mandela effect, but it's not the cause of it. Sorry, Dave. Go ahead.
Not a problem. All right, let's move on to another question. Let's go to the unknown. What about Ed McMahon and the Publishers Clearinghouse? I remember him going to people's doors with balloons and an envelope like it was yesterday. What's your thoughts on this, Splatter?
Oh, I agree with that. I remember that as well.
What do you remember about it?
I remember seeing him going around and talking about it, advertising, and I used to get things in the mail, actually myself, the big envelopes. You may already be a winner of $10 million. And there was his face on there.
What does anybody else on the panel have to remember about Ed McMahon and Publishers Clearinghouse? Because I think we all remember that one. That's a pretty obvious one.
I have the best residue, best residue of Ed McMahon. Ed McMahon himself is being interviewed, and the interviewer asks him about working for Publishers Clearinghouse, and he doesn't deny it at all. He shakes his head yes, and he talks about giving out checks. He talks about, it's almost as if Ed McMahon remembers working for Publishers Clearinghouse himself. So I'm with that 100%. I remember it, and I think Ed McMahon did too before he passed away. Go ahead,
wasn't there a video still kicking around of him actually going to a door?
Yes, a rap music video. And Ed McMahon goes with the checks and he wants the checks back. So that was the whole skit about that rap music, that he went to the houses, knocked on the door, I want my check back. So he remembers. There's also a video about Johnny Carson going to David Letterman with a big check that says Publishers Clearinghouse on the check. And he said, Ed McMahon couldn't be here, so I have this check for you. It still exists on YouTube if you search for it. So there's a lot of people remember those checks, and Ed McMahon delivering those checks. He never delivered checks anywhere, but we remember that he delivered those checks for Publishers Clearinghouse. Yeah,
like I said, he remembered it too. I mean, that was what I remember.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And I guess we should mention that he never even worked for Publishers Clearinghouse.
Apparently.
Instead, he worked for American Family Publishers. And many of us, until the Mandela Effect, had never even heard of American Family Publishers.
Yeah, that's weird. Because I actually remember getting those big envelopes in my mail.
Yes. I
That's
also
just so
I also
strange.
remember Sinbad the movie Shazam. That's a big one. And that one you can even ask Sinbad, and he was interviewed and he denied making that movie. But I saw in the chat room many people remember Sinbad. Where did it go? Where did that movie that I saw for myself with my kids or oh no, I'm sorry, it was with my brother. It was a long time in the 89s. It's like we were there. We went to the show. We saw it. We owned that video. Later on through the years, we figure out that that movie was made in another reality. But because here, Sinbad was interviewed and he denied it. So we believe this is a different version of Sinbad that did not make that movie. In this reality, that movie was never made. So to us, or to me, it stays behind because nothing hard or tangible can travel with us. You know, when our spirit, our soul gets moved, our memories come with us. That's how we cannot prove in the court something that we have in our memory. It's not tangible. There's nothing that we can prove, but we have residue, people saying that they remember seeing that movie, but they can't find it. So that's a big mystery. Go ahead. Sorry.
I
That's a whole
remember
other
that
topic.
one. That's a hot one, Sandy.
Yes.
Yeah, I was going to say that's a whole other topic about how the media and other entities go out of their way to make us look stupid, or
Right.
like you said, the title of this video today, misremembering. They will say that they actually made a parody of that movie Shazam.
Yeah.
College Humor was the website on YouTube, and you can still find it today. I think it's still on College Humor's YouTube channel. They got Sinbad to play Shazam, and they made like a commercial for the movie that doesn't exist. And it's to make fun of us. It's making fun of the people who remember it. I don't remember Shazam. I'm not affected by that one. Like I said, you're not ever. There's no one that's affected by every single Mandela effect. And Shazam is one that I have no memory of. But I believe everyone when they say they do remember it. And I don't think it's cool for Sinbad to go on radio stations and say, oh, that movie never existed. I don't know what people are talking about. And then go and make a parody of it. It's sort of like they're making fun of us. And I don't think it's very nice. But that would
Maybe
be
he
residue.
doesn't remember, though.
No, he doesn't. It's the fact that he went and still made the parody. He doesn't remember it, and they're making fun of us with the parody. That's all. It's a rabbit hole that I don't know. Like I said,
I understand with where you're going. Let's go to another question here. Let's go to Ashley. Are there any moon-related Mandela effects?
A lot.
So many.
Give us a couple.
I have no memory of moons being named. Moons and storms. Like, you know how hurricanes have a name? Hurricane Ida, Hurricane Sandy. Do you remember snowstorms being named? Because they name snowstorms now, which is weird. And they also name moons. Like, we've heard of the blood moon, but then there's like the pumpkin harvest moon, the strawberry moon. All these moons have names now. We don't remember the names of the moons. Can you think of any other Mandela effects with the moon, Bit Benham?
Yeah, the Cheshire Cat, we call it. It's the shadow on the moon that's now horizontal. I never remember a horizontal shadow on the moon. It was always vertical. Now we have, it was always, we now have a horizontal shadow on the moon. So that's the Cheshire moon. And there's even a grave on the moon. That's new too. There are lots of moon-related Mandela effects. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, for those
Never
that don't
knew there was
understand,
anything on the moon.
Yes, there's a grave. Yeah.
There's a statue on the moon they brought up there. that you can buy replicas of for a few $100s. They also took moon trees, they're called. They're planted all over the world. I mean, they're mostly in the U.S., but there's a couple in other countries. They were trees that they took to the moon supposedly and back, and they were planted. Like there's one in Philadelphia, a moon tree. I don't remember them planting it. I don't remember any ceremony about it, but apparently it was a big deal. But just for those that don't understand what he means by the Cheshire moon, if you look in the sky, when it's a crescent moon in the sky, in our past, it was the crescent moon, like the moon would wax and wane. You'd see a crescent moon like on the right hand side. It would, now it's straight up and down. It's on the bottom. So it looks like the moon is smiling. There's a toothy smile in the sky. We don't remember the moon being angled like that, lit up. That's what he means by Cheshire cat moon. But yeah,
Gotcha.
there's a lot of Mandela effects with the moon.
Gotcha. All right. Let's move on to another one here. Let's go to pushing buttons. Can we touch on the amount of Mandela effects with actor Tom Hanks?
Yeah,
know
there are
what?
lots. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, there are lots with Tom Hanks. Tom Hanks, I mean, we all remember that movie, Forrest Gump. Life is like a box of chocolates. And is like a box of chocolates. That's not the case anymore. That's the only quote in history that it's past tense. Life was like a box of chocolates. That's the current quote. There's still residue on DVD, on deleted scenes, where he does say life is like a box of chocolates, because that makes more sense. There's no logic in most of those Mandela effects. But Tom Hanks, he opened CERN, so there's the CERN connection. Sally Fields in that movie was the mother of Forrest Gump, and she said life is like a box of chocolates. The brother of Sally Fields works at CERN, so there's a lot of CERN connections. Also, he played in other movies where there are a couple of Mandela effects, and yeah, there are lots of connection with Tom Hanks with the Mandela effects and links.
Is it just because during the 90s and 2000s, Tom Hanks was just everywhere on every movie? He was the it guy. Would that be why? Or is it Tom Hanks, the actor, and it's following him?
I think
Well,
it's
we
Tom
do.
Hanks.
Yeah, me too.
It seems like the Mandela effect. Mandela's, there's like a pattern to it, and sometimes we see the same person connected to a lot of Mandela effects, or we'll see a movie. Like for example, Star Wars has so many Mandela effects related to Star Wars. Like C-3PO, everybody talks about the silver leg. We were just talking about it last night. He's got these pistons all over his body that no one remembers, these gears and pistons. He's got pistons on his hand that stick out an inch over his fingers. So when he bends his fingers, it looks like he has Wolverine blades. No one remembers them. So there's like, if something gets Mandela'd, it's a good possibility it could get Mandela'd again. And with like certain things like Tom Hanks, Star Wars, Sally Fields, things get Mandela'd over and over and over again. And if you really want to dive deep, if we look at those things, it could be a message. It could be a key to figure out what's happening, why this is happening. But we have no idea. They're just like puzzle pieces scattered all over the place. And we just have to pay attention. That's all I'm saying. But I think it is Tom Hanks. And I do think there is a connection because like Bit of Venom said with Sally Fields, we remember the S on the end. It's always been Sally Field in this reality. Sally Fields and Tom Hanks have that connection to CERN, which is strange. I don't know if you understood, but Sally Fields' brother works at CERN. Sally Fields has been to CERN. Tom Hanks has been to CERN. And there's a lot of Mandela effects surrounding both of them. And we keep finding that the same things get Mandela. It's very strange.
Before we knew she went to CERN, she used to be Sally Fields. Now she's just Sally Field.
Mm-hmm.
Let's move on to another one. Let's go next to LJ. Can we talk about anatomy changes? We talked earlier about the kidneys. What about the heart? Because I always remember, you stand up and you put your hand over your heart. It's always on the left-hand side when you're pledging allegiance or singing the national anthem.
Yes.
And now the heart is more in the middle of the chest.
Yeah.
Yes. Is it okay if I answer this?
Go for it.
Please.
Okay. I believe our soul, when we go to sleep, is called the REM, rapid eye movement. That's when your body is connected to the spirit world. So I believe that's when we're traveling to other avatars. Here in this reality, this avatar does not breathe oxygen, only breathes 21% oxygen and 71% nitrogen and 1% carbon monoxide. You can look it up what humans breathe, or the anatomy needs to be alive. What are we breathing here? We're breathing 76% nitrogen. So to me, we're inside of a different avatar, because it is impossible for somebody to move your heart without killing you or unaliving you. Sorry, because it is impossible. So we believe we're inside a different avatar in a different reality. This is, in other words, we were sent here not by choice. We don't know how it's done, but I believe it has a connection with the spirit world. That's why our memories does not match in this reality. For example, Timon asked for the Ford logo, and earlier in the beginning of the show, you show us the key that you're for 100% that you were sure that it didn't have a loop like a pigtail on the Ford logo. That means that the key that you remember stays in a different reality. That key does not travel with you. If you see the Mandela Effect, you're blessed. It's a good thing, because God chose for you to be here in this evil planet. This evil planet needs a yin yang. We are
In
the
your
positive.
opinion, Jose, in your
In my opinion, yes, this is all potentially, but I believe that we are leaving everything behind that we remember the way we remember it, because we were there. And now that we're here in a different avatar that has a different placement of the heart, that means we're in a different place inside of a different avatar.
He means body, but
potentially. There you go.
But really
Sorry,
quickly,
Splatter.
many of us remember the heart on the left-hand side, and now it's in the center.
Yes.
And I could list so many more. There's a bone behind your leg.
Mhm.
Not everyone has it, but scientists are baffled because apparently it went extinct. Through evolution, they claim that bone disappeared. We didn't need it. And some people are getting that bone back behind the leg, and those that do tend to have more knee pain, which is strange.
Right.
There's also an extra artery in some people's arms. They are used if people have like clogged arteries in their heart. If you have that extra artery, they will use that artery to replace the clogged artery in surgery. There's also the rib cage. Many remember the rib cage being open, but now it's closed and connected to the sternum. The sternum has all different shapes. There's a hyphoid bone underneath the sternum. Some people don't remember the hyphoid bone at all, but the hyphoid bone comes in all these weird shapes, including like a boot shape, which is very strange. And then another one is the rib cage having the floating ribs. There's 2 floating ribs currently that point almost straight down, which is very strange. And the rib cage goes above the clavicle. I don't remember that. I remember the rib cage ending at the clavicle, and then you had the spine of the neck. But now the rib cage also continues up past the clavicle onto the spine. So there's so many Mandelas with the body.
Sandy, it's time for us to wrap things up here.
Oh.
Hard to believe that's 2 hours. Done, gone, goodbye. Tell everybody in 10 seconds where they could find your YouTube channel.
You can find me at youtube.com/@SandyDiva. We are going there right after this, and we're there every weekend, definitely, and then sometimes during the week too.
Love it. Make sure you hit subscribe. Sandy Diva and her team talking Mandela Effect. Coming up next, Swamp Dweller and Little Timmy James for the UFO Report. Stay tuned, everybody.
You're listening to Spaced Out Radio with your host, Dave Scott.
All right, everybody. Thank you very much for coming on the show tonight. And after my show is done, I'm going to go pop in on Sandy's channel and say hello to everybody. Sandy, once again, you and your team, amazing. Appreciate you.
Thank you so much, Dave. Thank you.
I was a
Yeah,
bundle of
thanks.
nerves tonight for some reason. I don't know why.
And, you know, when we do shows like this, Sandy, you introduced a lot of your audience to our show for the first time.
Yep.
So thank you very much. And I hope all of you who are new here take the time to hit subscribe, ring that bell, as we are here 7 days a week for your listening entertainment. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much, Dave. We really
Thank
appreciate
you.
it, and we'll
Yes.
see you soon.
Yeah, we'll see you in about an hour.
Thank you for
All right.
having us.
Thank you.
All right, take care.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, there we go, guys. That was absolutely amazing. Take a break. We'll be right back, everybody. All right, let's bring in little Timmy James.
What's
What's happening, buddy?
Oh, not too much. What about you?
Living the dream. How's your bro?
Good. Good.
Nice.
Yeah. It was nice.
Nice.
Yeah. One of those, hey, I'm on my way up. Huh? Sure.
Nice. That's a nice surprise.
Yeah, it was. Very cool.
All right, let's say quickly hello because I'm way behind here. The Mind, how are you? And keep on scrolling. Thanks, Bubby. Go-Kart Bob, can you close my door, please? Go-Kart Bob. Good morning, Phil Jones. Appreciate you coming on in. And who else did I miss here? Got everybody, I think. I got everybody. If I didn't, just say hi again and I will say hello. Thank you tonight to all of our super chatters. Man, there's a lot. Cat Chaser, Kitty Cattywhack, Richard, T-Bone, Louie ×2, Trucker Andrew, Pushing Buttons, Blue Cruise, and Monica. Thank you very, very much. And also a big thank you to Luscious Jewels for joining our YouTube membership. We appreciate that. I know I screwed up on the last video. I don't know how I screwed up. But I promise you, the next video Tim and I put out, we will make it better. Here we go with the third and final hour of Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. We appreciate you tuning us on in wherever you are on this beautiful planet we call Earth. Hey, we want to say hello to everyone tuning us in on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on every major podcast network. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. You can follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. What do you got for us, Clam? Well, let's take a little peek here. Receptacular. Receptacular is your password. Use it wisely, Space Travelers, as the Clam sets the password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Let's head to the swamp.
Hello and welcome to Spaced Out Radio's Swamp. I'm Swamp Dweller, and tonight I'm going to take you on a mystic journey of the unknown, sharing tales of monsters, legends, and nightmares. Welcome to the Spaced Out Radio Swamp. I was driving around my old friend's neighborhood, keeping an eye on the place, as it was quite the hot spot for unnatural occurrences. One such instance, when he and I were walking down his street, the sun was setting, and the evening breeze glided through the trees. All the while, a peaceful, heavy, and suffocating surrealist filled the atmosphere. Just as a shiver went up my spine, he turned to the edge of the woods, and I followed suit soon after. As if on cue, a man's yell, painful and full of agony, broke the eerie serenity of the evening. Now we are both on edge and hasten our pace and walk hurriedly. His home was just 10 minutes from where we were, but we knew that anything could happen between here and there if we weren't careful. About 5 minutes away from his house, another yell boomed from the woods. Only this time it was altered from before, becoming more and more animalistic as it dragged on. We increased our pace again, nearly running at this point. The daylight almost completely gone, and after an hour, we finally reached his front porch. That's when we heard it. Behind us we heard a screech in the woodline, an awful combination of a rooster's crow, a goat's bleat, and a dog's bark. After that, whatever it was, hissed and began coming towards us at a very quick pace. The leaves in the trees rustled as it got nearer and nearer, jumping down from the branches and into the brush of the bushes and smaller foliage. We heard it land on the ground, and soon after, it came crashing towards us, stopping just before it broke out of the wood's cover. Whatever it was, began breathing heavily and pointed its bony, clawed finger out at us, curling it in a motion as if it was tempting us to come towards it. Not long after, my friend unlocked his door and swung it open, both of us stumbling inside and slamming its door shut behind us. As we did, whatever that thing was hit against it and tried to break it down, if not at the very least frighten us. It then sounded like it jumped from the porch and back into a tree, dashing back into the woods. Later that night, we heard occasional scratching and tapping noises on the windows and doors and other parts of the house, but we didn't bother to open the blinds or investigate. Thankfully, we had the pleasure of not seeing what the rest of it looked like, but we did have the misfortune of hearing its screams. That's just one of the many uncomfortable, yet equally exciting experiences we've had together. If you want to investigate the area, visit Holbrook, South Carolina. It's in Dorchester County, a quaint and quiet little neighborhood. Unfortunately, most of it has been deforested for housing development, but that doesn't precisely restrain any odd things from occurring. Just be on guard and stay safe.
Thank you, Swamp Dweller, for another creepy, spooky story. If you want more just like that, head on over to his YouTube channel, Swamp Dweller. Hit subscribe, ring that bell, and he's got thousands of stories there for you each and every day. Let's go to the UFO report.
That is an interplanetary flying space saucer. You have made me very angry. Very angry indeed.
Little Timmy James back in the hot seat here. As you know, next week we're going to be redoing our SOR studio. So that's going to be fun. I look forward to that. Yeah.
Do you?
All I have to say is, what a weekend.
Oh my goodness.
What a great weekend. You know, unfortunately you were not feeling very well on the Friday night and you could not make it with us to the heritage site where Merle, myself, and Lee did a paranormal investigation and had a lot of fun trying to communicate with the spirits that were there and the ones that weren't there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but Saturday, how fun was that?
That was awesome. I mean, having Lee come up, and I got to tell you, if you've seen Lee's videos and stuff like that, where, you know, he goes out on his researches and, you know, I have never seen a guy pack so much stuff into a Toyota 4Runner in my life. It looked like a cargo ship exploded when we got there. And he had so much gear. And it was just like, what are you doing with that? What is that? I don't know. It's a Geiger counter. And this is, you know, parabolic mic. You know, this will record this. Yeah, it was a great time. Merle was a blast. We had fun. We got up there, probably about 3:00, I guess, in the afternoon. We were there.
We were out there. We were out there for over 8 hours.
Yeah. And lots of stuff going on. We did a lot of experimenting, found some pretty cool stuff. So not this video coming up, but the one after it will be all with Lee and Merle and Dave and myself. And yeah, I had a really good time. It was such a fun time. And yeah, I wish we could have done it, spent more time up there.
Oh, tell me about it. You know, a couple things I do want to mention besides Lee being an absolute gear whore on having not one of everything, but usually 2 or 3 of everything.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, when he goes, he does it right. But I just want to say this. I've investigated with Merle before, and Merle is an incredible investigator.
Mm-hmm.
He really is. Lee is, I would say, on that same level.
Yeah.
I mean, listening to these two talk about what gear to use and what works where and everything, because I'm not a gearhead at all.
No.
But listening to them and how, you know, I wish we had this sort of light. Well, I got one. You know, I mean, it was literally, you know, a tech geek's dream to be out there investigating with all of it.
So much fun.
But I wish we had clearer skies because Lee really wanted to do a UFO watch up there.
Yeah.
But a couple of things that I am impressed with. Okay. Number one, we found quite a few footprints.
Yes. Yes, we did.
We did. We did. Number two, I'm extremely disappointed that our trail cam did not pick up a single picture, not even the pictures of us leaving.
No. And I came home and I set it up. It was yesterday or something. I set it up the way that we had set it up to begin with up at the crash site, and no issue at all. I'm, moving in front, moving back, and it took pictures and it did the bursts and the whole 9 yards. And I'm finding that a little hard to believe that us having it set up there right in a traffic zone for over a week, not one single picture. I was like,
But the weird part about it is it didn't even take pictures of us when we were leaving.
No, and that's what I was worried about. I thought, okay, Tim's, Mr. All Thumbs has messed up the camera. And no, it works. It does exactly what it's supposed to do because it did it when I got home. So who knows? I'm going to chalk this one up to not too creepy, anything, creepy pasta. I think it's just Tim didn't do something right. So I'm gonna take the hit on that one.
Well, we're gonna blame you then.
All right, sounds good.
We're totally going to blame you on that one for sure.
Yes.
But the other thing that I did want to mention was Lee brought out this Geiger counter.
Oh,
okay. Now, in 2023, when we did our first recorded investigation up at Flight 21, we actually had a UFO sighting on the ground. I saw the UFO. Samantha, Merle, our camera crew, director, and our armed guard couldn't see it. So I took Lee to the spot where the UFO was. And this is 2 years later, guys. And he was getting radiation hits on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
In the little trees that have now popped up to be, say, 2, 3, 4 footers.
Yeah.
He was getting radiation hits off of those trees of where I saw that UFO. That blew me away.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely blew me away. And when the video comes out in a couple weeks, you'll be able to see what we are talking about.
Yeah.
Okay. And if you want to join our YouTube membership, you can. And hopefully this one I get right on how to make it members only. So we'll make it that way. But I do have to say this. Probably the most interesting part of my night was when we were packing up to leave. And you and Lee had a little bit of an experience. And I want you to go into some detail about this.
Sure. So we'd all been back and forth and doing a whole bunch of stuff basically that whole afternoon and into, we stayed up there, a couple, 2-3 hours later than we normally do. I don't think we got out of there until after midnight, if I recall correctly. So we were getting ready to shut it down. And on one of the videos, I don't know if everybody's watched it, there's the path that leads over to the gifting site. And I'm sure that anybody who's watched it's familiar where I'm talking about. So we were, Lee and I were standing and we were just kibitzing for a bit and everybody was kind of packing up their gear. And Lee and I could hear something in the bush. And it wasn't, it just sounded like shuffle, stop. So Lee and I walked up to the tree line and Lee started, hey, how you doing? It's okay. Who's out there? Can you say hello? And, come see us. We're not going to hurt you. So I decided, Lee was standing to my right side, and I decided to walk in on the trail a little bit farther and around the corner. Well, as you turn to the right, that the trail breaks over and it goes towards the gifting site, you could feel a presence, a monstrous presence just on the outside of that darkness. It was like not threatening or whatever, but it was unmistakable. So Lee walked in with me, came up beside me, and I said, "Can you feel that?" And he goes, "It's remarkable." And you could literally not see, but you could literally feel the energy and the presence just into the darkness of the tree line. It almost felt like something was standing behind one of those old growths and just kind of peek around, have a look, tuck back in, and wouldn't answer, wouldn't come any closer, wouldn't make any sounds, but with unmistakably, him and I both were like, there's something big standing in the inside or just on that tree. And I said to Lee, all of a sudden, I don't know what came over me. I said to Lee, I had no fear at all. I said, Lee, I'm going to walk in there with just my flashlight and I'm going to see what I can see. And Lee goes to me, you know what? Thank God. Lee says, he goes, common sense prevails. I don't think you or anybody should be walking in there. And I was like, yeah, but it feels just kind of, I should go see. And he says, we don't want to intimidate. We don't want to scare. We don't want anybody hurt or injured, attacked by something. And I was really disappointed. Actually, I felt like disappointed. And then when I stepped back out of that area, I said to Lee, God, I really wanted to go in there. I said, what was I thinking? He goes, I don't know. He says, I don't know why you wanted to walk back in there. But yeah, it was incredible. I don't think I felt that big of energy in the whole time that we've been up there. It was incredible.
Let's talk about that energy for a quick second here.
Yeah.
Because we do have to get to the UFO report.
Oh, right.
Okay. That energy that you felt, you've been around black bears, grizzly bears, moose, mountain lions. You learn to pick up the energy of animals when you're in the forest, and you trust that energy. Like, how many times have we been driving and all of a sudden you or me will say, man, it feels like there's a bear out here. Right. And the next thing you know, you see a bear.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay. It happens all the time because your intuition allows you to see that.
Yes.
And feel that. And here we are watching this. What kind of energy did it feel like? Did it feel like an animal? Did it feel like it was more of a different presence?
Yeah. Because normally at night, my experience for me personally is when it's pitch black like that and it's an animal, I have a different feeling. I have that very cautious, it's telling me I don't want anything to do with you. And I think I'm reciprocating. And the energy is different. There's a sense of danger. There's a sense of, I don't want to annoy or pee this thing off, whatever's out there. So it's an immediate back off and it's everybody go to their neutral corners. With this energy, it felt huge and overwhelming, but in a positive way. And I don't know what drew me to go in there, but yeah, it felt completely different. Not dangerous, not scary. I actually felt comfortable. And I felt like this is okay, but it was an overwhelming presence, if that makes any sense. It was like standing in front of Andre, like, lack of a better term, Andre the Giant or something big. And that's the best way I can describe it. It was definitely not an animal. I trust my gut, and I don't believe it was at all.
What made you feel like you were safe going in there?
It was almost like it was like, it's okay, I'm just watching. I had that going on in my head, and I'm thinking, me too, I'm just watching too. And then it almost like that, hey, if you're just watching and I'm just watching, why don't we just meet in the middle? Like, I had that kind of a thought process going, like, come see me because I'd like to see you. And yeah, it was exciting and it was welcoming. And yeah, I was down. Like, I would have walked right back in there, no problem. And
I'll tell you why I brought that up. because I have talked to researchers before who've had that exact same feeling and followed in and have actually been touched by a Sasquatch on the shoulder or on the head. And they said, I remember this one guy named Mike out of Colorado saying that he had that happen, and he walked into the trees, and he said he just stood there, and he said all of a sudden he heard about 4 or 5 of them around him, and one of them actually reached in to touch him, on the shoulder and on the head, and they weren't going to hurt him, nothing. And the way Robin, we're going to have to ask Robin about this. Okay. But the way Robin describes the way that those Sasquatch out there seem to really like you and like me, they may have been inviting you in.
That would have been awesome. And there is a good possibility because, again, not trying to be redundant, I've never felt that type of energy, and it was nice. It was nice, but it was, like I say, it was just like I'm shy and I'm kind of staying back here and I'm looking. It was incredible, and Lee was super good. Lee was beside me, and the way he was talking, I think really, really kind of mellowed everything out because he was so, hey, fella, it's okay.
Oh, yeah.
It was just, everything seemed to gel, and I got goosebumps, and it was a very, very cool feeling. I never, something that I've never felt before.
One other thing that we do need to talk about before we go, we got 2.5 minutes, so we got to make it fast.
Okay.
The poop. Okay, so the week before, Tim and I actually heard something large, literally breaking wind, maybe 40 yards from us, if that, 30 yards, probably better.
Yep.
So we went and checked out that area where we heard the flatulence in the forest, and we found droppings that we can't figure out what they are.
Nope.
I showed a couple of my hunting buddies earlier today that photo. They didn't recognize it. They said it looked like horse from the picture, but when I showed how small it was in your hand, they're like, that's not horse, Dookie.
Nope.
And it was animals when they go in the forest, they drop it anywhere.
Yep.
They don't hide their tails or their rumps into a tree like a human would to drop a deuce. They don't do that. And yet here this was, and it happened to be in the exact area where we heard that flatulence the week before.
Yeah. I went back and looked at the pictures, and then I got online and I had to look to, at scat, see what type of animal scat, and horse, but like you say, too tiny. And where it was, that thing would have had to back up into that tree, as you know, and get right tucked back in there to do its business. And I've never, ever, ever seen an animal, maybe a dog if it's scared, but never seen an animal do that before in the wild.
It sounds like a funny topic to talk about, but when you're working out in the forest, you have to know your poop. It sounds ridiculous, but you have to be able to recognize it. Because it's safety.
Exactly.
Believe it or not, understanding your poop, how fresh is it? What kind of animal is it? What's going on with it? That's a big safety marker when you're in the wilderness.
Yeah.
And we could not figure out the animal that took that. Tim, we come back. We got a lot of UFO news to talk about here, including brand new hearing dates for UFOs in Washington, D.C.
This is Spaced Out Radio. Your host, Dave Scott.
I'm just going to expand my screen here for a quick second.
Go right ahead.
So you didn't even see this one unless you saw my Facebook earlier, Tim. But this was the print that Lee and I found at the other Sasquatch spot yesterday.
Yeah, I did see that. That's that duck print again.
This one was smaller than the duck print, though.
Oh, okay.
Up top.
Mm-hmm.
So that was very interesting.
Yep.
And let's see here. I'm just going to show the poop picture here.
Yeah, go ahead.
A couple of them. So this was tucked inside a tree. It's very dark. It looks like it's older, but it was very fresh, wasn't it, Tim?
Yes, I actually picked it up barehanded, and yes, it was very fresh. All grasses and grains, and looked like maybe pine nuts or something in it, but yeah.
Okay, and then I will show the picture of this is the picture of Tim kind of playing with it right there, trying to figure out what was in it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then here is the photo of where it was. So you can see where Tim is, and you can see how it's scattered at the bottom in a bunch of trees.
Yeah. Yeah. Something was just trying to be discreet. Whatever it was trying to be discreet in the woods.
Yeah. Now, I don't know if any of you saw this. Do we have time? Yeah. But those idiots, Tim, showed up at Flight 21.
Oh, those guys. Jesus.
Yeah.
Right.
Let me just turn the volume up here.
New profile.
And
thanks, boss man.
Hold on.
Excuse me.
Refrigerator, whatever.
Audio sucks.
What the hell's poppycock? Cool. Like we said before, we've stepped over a better minute to get to the mediocre ones. Don't worry. Let me tell you something, Navajo warrior. You are lucky. That ridiculous?
Yeah, it was hard, very, very hard to hear.
Yeah, it was terrible. It's terrible. I don't care.
Yeah,
just those idiots.
They show up everywhere.
I don't like them.
No,
I don't like them at all.
Nope.
They're rude. They're weird.
Obnoxious.
Extremely obnoxious. Extremely. Thank you to Deborah Rooney, who's having a bubble bath while watching this.
Ooh.
Monica Blue Cruz, pushing buttons, Louis ×2, Trucker Andrew, T-Bone my man, Cat Chaser, Kitty Cattywhack, and Richard for the great super chats. Thank you to Luscious Jewels for becoming our latest member in our YouTube membership group. So thank you very, very much. Don't forget you can shop at our Spaced Out Radio store. Why, Tim?
Because we don't sell ugly swag, people.
No ugly swag. And I'm going to make a note here to put a Residue t-shirt up there. Residue. I love that word. Such a gross word, but I love it.
Right.
We're coming back in like 9 seconds. Residue. Residue.
Yeah.
Residue. Here we go. Here we go with the final half hour of Spaced Out Radio. It's the UFO Report with little Timmy James. My name is Dave Scott. Thank you for tuning us in. We greatly appreciate all of your love and support and telling everybody about this weird show that you heard on the radio. Hey, we want to remind all of you as well that if you've missed most of this show or others, or archives are always free on YouTube or any major podcast network. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. You can follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. He's Tim James. I'm Dave Scott. This is a UFO Report. Tim, it looks like we got dates for our next UFO hearing in D.C.
Yeah. So Congress has locked in September 9th for the next UFO or UAP hearings, and firsthand witnesses are expected. So the next congressional hearing on UFOs is officially scheduled for September 9th, 2025, and early indications suggest it may be one of the most consequential yet. Representative Eric Burleson has confirmed that at least 3 witnesses will testify, including a former U.S. Air Force veteran and a Navy officer, both of whom are expected to share firsthand accounts of encounters with UFOs. This marks a shift from the previous hearings, which often relied on secondhand testimony, whistleblower claims, or vague references to classified programs. The presence of direct witnesses lends weight to the proceedings and has sparked cautious optimism among observers who have long called for more concrete evidence. The hearing arrives amid a broader push in Congress for disclosure, with bipartisan support growing around legislation like the Unidentified Anomalous Phenomenon Disclosure Act. The act, reintroduced by Senators Chuck Schumer and Mike Rounds, call for the federal government to assert control over recovered technologies and biological evidence of non-human intelligence, should any exist. While the identities of all witnesses have not been publicly confirmed, sources suggest that at least 2 of 4 more expected participants will offer personal testimony of UFO encounters. That alone has raised expectations that this hearing could move beyond speculation and into a realm of verifiable experience. Still, skepticism remains. Some in the community question whether military backgrounds automatically confer credibility, and others are calling for deeper access to program insiders, those who have worked directly with recovered materials or classified technologies. But for now, the promise of firsthand accounts is enough to ignite interest and hope that the September 9th hearing might finally deliver answers that have eluded the public for decades.
Do we have a list yet of who those new speakers will be?
There's a lot of speculation out there, but nothing concrete. They're still holding their cards close to their vest. I know that Burleson put something out, which I have here, that came out after the announcement of them solidifying a date, but nothing concrete, I guess, would be the best way to put that.
So basically what they're telling us is they're going to have eyewitness firsthand testimony from however many witnesses they have, probably in the range of 2 to 4 witnesses.
Yes, correct. So we'll have to wait.
I really hope they're new names.
I'm thinking that they may be. I mean, again, I'm just speculating from what I've read today and going through all the different stories, looking for the names. they're not really throwing anything out there. But yeah, it sounds like we are not going with the standard, I guess, cast of characters that we normally encounter at these things.
Well, we're going to have to figure out how or who this is going to be. And we're going to have Courtney Marcassani on later this week. And we're going to be talking to her about this in depth because I know she's going to know a player or two. Speaking of Courtney Marcassani, she came out with something. And look, once again, we're going to tell you here, I told you so. Okay, we're going to tell you I told you so.
Yeah.
Because Courtney had another piece of information regarding somebody who is extremely rich, who says he has nothing to do with the UFO world, all of a sudden opening up his checkbook for some UFO stuff again.
Yes, sir.
Fill us in, Tim.
Absolutely. So our Courtney Marcassani, who we love to death, has revealed that billionaire investor Peter Thiel has been quietly financing UFO researchers to cover the phenomena in mainstream media. In a recent interview, Marcassani stated she had spoken directly with 3 individuals who were approached by Thiel with financial contracts aimed at supporting their work on UFOs. The goal, she said, was clear: to elevate the visibility of UFOs through credible, sustained media coverage. Thiel's involvement doesn't stop there. Marcassani also confirmed that he is an investor in The Age of Disclosure, the documentary that premiered at South by Southwest earlier this year and features testimony from dozens of senior U.S. government and military officials. Film alleges that an 80-year cover-up of non-human intelligence and covert race among nations to reverse engineer alien technology. So directed by Dan Farah. The documentary has drawn attention for its bold claims and its cast of high-level insiders, including Lou Elizondo, Jay Stratton, Admiral Tim Godet. So Thiel's financial backing of both individual researchers and a major documentary signals a deeper interest in the disclosure movement than previously known. While his motivations remain speculative, the influence of Silicon Valley money on the UFO narrative is becoming harder to ignore. With The Age of Disclosure still awaiting a wide release and more researchers reportedly under contract, Thiel's role may prove pivotal in shaping how and when the public learns what insiders claim to know. So, yeah, we'll, I guess, be digging a little deeper into that with Courtney on Thursday, I'm suspecting, right? Or sometime this week, whatever it was.
Yeah, it'll be a great show to have Courtney on, and I got to tell you, we're getting some real interesting news right now regarding this story. And when I say I told you so, we started watching the Peter Thiel endeavor when we found out that he had given between $5 and $8 million to help Enigma Labs set up. And Enigma Labs said, we're nonprofit. We don't want government contracts. We don't want this. We don't want that. And within 6 months of their existence, they were, or going public, really, they were attending a NASA UFO conference. Okay. We know that Peter Thiel donated money there. We know there are YouTubers out there that have benefited from the influence of Peter Thiel on this subject. And now we find out that he's not only trying to pay off journalists, but we find out that he is also trying to pay off, or pardon me, not pay off, but he helped fund the latest disclosure documentary that is yet to receive a release date.
Right. See, yeah. And after, I mean, again, I'm just reading, I'm reading more into this. Is it, like you said, first of all, I have nothing to do with any of this, whatever. So then we find out now that the money's come, or a lot of money's coming from him, and he's out and he's trying to, like you said, get the media and pay journalists and stuff like that. Now you can see where a lot of this, how come all these new people that we don't know are all becoming these massive UFO people? Well, if you look a little deeper into it, Thiel, like with Jesse Michaels and stuff like that, he's financed. And the thing that worries me about this is he's financed or helped finance the Disclosure, the movie that hasn't gone out yet. Is this somebody else now with huge deep pockets that is trying to control a narrative, or is he trying to open the doors with his finances and help the community realize that all this stuff's going on and that there's truth to it? I don't know what he's doing. I'm unsure. I'm just kind of weighing it. I don't know which way to look at this yet. I'm just kind of like,
And that's the big ticket right there. We don't know which way he is going with that. We do know he has his own UFO harem picked out.
Right.
Okay. Allegedly with Jesse Michaels being the key leader on that. And we know for a fact that it is true. You could look it on up. YouTuber Jesse Michaels made his millions off of working on one of Peter Thiel's subsidiary companies and did very well for himself. And congratulations. I don't hold that against the guy whatsoever. God bless him for having good success, working hard and getting good success in his life.
100%.
I will never, ever begrudge anybody for that whatsoever, but we also know that there is a relationship there. And Michaels has come on publicly stating that he's tried to bring Peter Thiel into the UFO world, and Thiel wants nothing to do with it, allegedly. Yet his name just in his checkbook keep popping up. So what is it? Is he in or is he out? Yeah. Is he the next Robert Bigelow? Or, who used to own Skinwalker Ranch before Brandon Fugel? Or is he his own entity trying to maybe take advantage of a technology that is coming, that it's inevitable that it will come out, and he wants a piece of it and wants to make sure that the story goes his way? We don't know.
Nope.
We can only speculate. All right, let's move on here because we have a lot more topics to cover. A little bit of a change up at Skywatcher.
Yeah.
As one of their top people has stepped down.
Yeah. So James Fowler, the technology lead behind Skywatcher's groundbreaking efforts to detect and classify UFOs, has officially stepped down from his role, marking a pivotal moment for the enigmatic startup. Known for its bold claims of near-perfect success in UFO detection using military-grade equipment and advanced AI, Skywatcher has recently gone silent, leaving followers and industry insiders questioning the future of the project. Fowler's departure comes at a time of growing uncertainty surrounding Skywatcher's operations. Hailed as a pioneering force in aerial intelligence, the team led by Jake Barber has not released any new content or updates in nearly 2 months. This abrupt quiet has fueled speculation that internal shifts, financial pressures, or external influences may be reshaping the company's trajectory. Fowler played a central role in developing Skywatcher's technological backbone, including its taxonomy of UFOs, which categorized sightings into forms like tic tacs, jellyfish, or manta rays. His interviews and public appearances helped elevate the company's credibility, especially among communities invested in disclosure and aerial phenomena research. His exit, however, leaves a vacuum in both leadership and technical vision. The silence from other key figures, including cinematographer Jay Hunter, who was reportedly approached to join the team, has only deepened the mystery. Fans and critics alike are voicing concerns that Skywatcher may have shifted its priorities towards securing funding from Silicon Valley backers, potentially at the expense of transparency and community engagement. As of now, neither Fowler nor Barber has issued a formal statement regarding the reasons behind the departure or the future of Skywatcher. Whether this marks the end of a bold experiment or the beginning of a new chapter, again, remains to be seen.
Well, I talked to a couple sources about this earlier tonight.
Okay.
And one of them said that James has a track record of working with drone technology, and that's where he seems to be headed in his future. And because of this, that's all they could really confirm to me. And I talked to about 3 people about this today regarding this subject. And, here's one of the things I just want to clarify on things. I know Science Bob is close. He does our UFO report and everything. Do I talk to Science Bob? Yes. But I'm not going to put Science Bob in a corner to try and say, hey man, give me the inside juice here on this. That's not fair. I do have other sources, and I wouldn't put my friendship with Bob on the line for Skywatcher on that, because I know that's an important project to him. So I just want to clarify that I do get information from other people regarding Skywatcher as well. And, I believe it was James Fowler who a number of months ago basically said, we're not interested in being a part of the UFO club. We're not interested, as in Skywatcher, in getting into the woo and get of the UFO world, and we don't need their support. I'm paraphrasing here. Don't quote me on it, but he wasn't very kind towards the UFO community. I think he had respect for it, but basically said, "Hey, thanks, but no thanks. We don't need you." Right. And and that took a lot of people in the UFO world by surprise, because we're such a small community that we want to be able, doesn't matter if it's government people or doctors or lawyers or whoever, we just want to be a part of the system. We want to be there to have your back and show support. Like whether you're cheering for, a losing franchise in the NFL. Okay, let's say it's the Cleveland Browns. That everybody loves the Browns, but the Browns never win, or the Raiders or another team like that as well. You still have that love and admiration for them, and you're going to show your support. But it was like Skywatcher, I believe, through Fowler, stated, we just don't need you. We don't need you right now. Okay, let us do our thing. You go stand over there. You go take your pom-poms over there. We don't need you here. And it rubbed the people along the wrong way. And you know what? The Stars Academy, with much less budget, of course, had that same issue. Where Jim Semivan stated one of the biggest mistakes that they made was that they didn't include the UFO public in their quest. And that failed them. We'll take your money, but we're not going to give you anything. We're not a part of your community, but buy shares in our company and we're going to take your money.
That's right.
By the way, the shares are worthless today. They're not worth the toilet paper that you buy and put in your bathroom. And Skywatcher doesn't need the people because they already have the backing. And I've been kind of prodding around trying to find out who is backing them. And I haven't found anything yet, to be blunt. But on the flip side, because of that backing, they don't need it. And you know what? That's okay. That's okay. It's quite okay that Skywatcher doesn't want anything to do with the UFO community. Is it frustrating? Sure it is. We want to be able to cover it. We want to talk to their people, communicate with us. But that's their protocol as a private company in what they are doing for their research. And unfortunately, you got to be okay with that, because they're not hitting the public up for money. They aren't hitting the public up for donations. They aren't hitting the public up for support. It's the public who is wanting to be a part of the ride, and they're saying, well, we don't really want you to be a part of the ride. And they're okay, and it's okay for them to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Your thoughts?
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. It may not be what you want to hear, and it may not be, there's a lot of opinion, I think, on that, but I agree. They're allowed to do it. They're private. It's not like a federally funded government operation where, there are at least some protocols to follow and some openness to be involved. They don't have to tell us anything. They don't have to. Yeah, I'm frustrated with it, but what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? It is what it is.
Absolutely. We got just under a minute to go here. Quickly here, Jay Stratton talks about his encounter with something strange at Skinwalker Ranch.
Yeah, this is something real quick. So Jay Stratton, former head of the Pentagon's UAP task force, shared a chilling account of an encounter with a creature unlike anything known in modern biology. Sighting took place at Skinwalker Ranch, the infamous Utah property long associated with paranormal phenomenon. During Stratton's tenure overseeing the government investigations into unexplained aerial and terrestrial anomalies, Stratton, known for his approach and credibility within defense circles, described the creature that he witnessed as weighing approximately 150 pounds with a reptilian build reminiscent of a small dinosaur. It had a pronounced spines running down its back with a thick beaver-like tail and moved with eerie precision. Completely silent despite its size. The encounter occurred during a nighttime surveillance operation part of a broader investigation into the ranch history of anomalous activity. We were watching the perimeter when it appeared, Stratton said. In a closed-door briefing later recounted by insiders, it didn't make a sound. Not a twig snapped, not a breath. It moved like it was gliding, but it was clearly walking. Then it was gone. Just gone.
Well, I wonder if it had big duck-billed feet.
Right?
Yeah. Little Timmy James, thank you for a great report as we say goodnight to Tim. And hello to Mr. Ron Bumblefoot Thal. Rocking us in the background with Little Brother is watching. Bumblefoot is the official music of Spaced Out Radio. Rocking us in and out of every single show. Get your horns up for the guitar god himself. Special thanks to everybody listening in at work, at home, in your cars, wherever you may be. Thank you to everyone in our chat rooms tonight. YouTube, Twitch, LGAB, Facebook, Spreaker, LinkedIn, the Space Travelers Club, and on X, hashtag Spaced Out Radio. Remember, this show is copyright by Spaced Out Radio and Bigfoot Broadcasting Limited. Thank you so much for choosing to share your evening with us, because together, my friends, we're watching. We own the night. Mr. Bumblefoot, we need a favor. We need you to take us home. Yes, the Woo Train has docked for the night, but soon, my friends, we shall ride again. Your seats are always available. Your tickets never expire. And if you want to bring a friend, we've got room for them too. Good night, everybody. All right, we're clear.
Excellent.
I felt bad last night.
Why'd you feel bad?
Well, they put out, Jake and Merle put out their video about 108 Mile Ranch from a few weeks ago.
Oh, yes, yes.
It's all edited, beautifully done.
Mm-hmm.
Beautifully done. And I did an interview for about 10 minutes with Merle on how I don't believe in Agnes McVie.
That, oh, yeah. That, I remember that night. Yep.
And anyways, long story short, the way Jake edited it, it made it sound like I believed Agnes McVie was real.
Oh, wow.
And So Merle, I watched it and I thought, oh, that's strange. Because I don't believe, and I thought I waited and thought they were going to come back at the end and, actually have people, me saying that I don't believe she's a real person.
Mm-hmm.
And they never did. That fell on the cutting room floor, which happens.
Sure.
Jake did an incredible job. I think everybody should go watch it.
Mm.
But Jake and Merle did a fantastic job there. Okay. It's on Ghostly Activities YouTube channel as well as the Paranormal Road Trippers. I think as of right now, it's got like, oh goodness, how many hits does it have? Hold on, let me find it here. When I checked this morning, it was like in the thousands.
Good.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
For God's sakes, just go to the YouTube channel. Not the studio, no nothing. Where are you here? It's up to 18,000 views in one day. Yeah. Good for them.
Oh, no.
It's very well done. Very well done.
If you live in Canada and are tired of prices rising while your income stays the same, listen
in our
up.
chat room. Yeah, if you guys want to watch it.
You do want to watch. I mean, Merle was showing me some of the clips when he was working on it the other night. Yeah. I was like, dude, that's going to be so good.
It's Monica's birthday.
Who?
Happy birthday to you, Monica. Happy birthday to you, Monica. Happy birthday, dear Monica. Happy birthday to you. There you go. Deborah Rooney, once again. Yes. Thank you, Debbie Stew. Appreciate that. All right. Tim, you're going to get out of here.
Yes, sir.
All right. I will see you in 2 days' time. I will ask Robin that about the Dookie.
Yeah.
And if everybody wants to go over, I'm going to go on while I'm editing this show. I'm going to go join the crew from Sandy Diva's channel, talking Mandela Effect. I told her I would go over there, so that's what I'm going to do. So we're going to end things here pretty abruptly. Thank you tonight to Deborah Rooney ×2, Monica, the birthday girl, Blue Cruise, Pushing Boots or whatever, Buttons or T-Bone, Louis ×2, Trucker Andrew, Richard, Kitty, and Cat Chaser. Thank you very much for your lovely, lovely support. Thank you to Jules for becoming a new member on our YouTube channel. I will get better with that. I do promise you. Tomorrow night on the show, Winnie Schrader is going to talk some true crime with us. We're going to have a lot of fun with that. Little Timmy James.
Dave Scott.
Have a good night, buddy.
You too. Good night, everybody.
See you tomorrow.
healthy, my friend.
You too.
If you need bail money, give me a call.
Always, Dad. Take care.
You too.